this place!
Hey, man, is that
Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening the refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren, right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys.
We gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
When we got the descriptions, they were very adamant. They were like, try not to make it like a white blonde guy. Like, please, like, we love them, but there's like 500 million of them.
The diversity that the characters need to have needs to reflect the gaming world now. The mix of people that are playing these games, you know, it's not, you know, 13-year-old white boys held up in their basements. It's a very diverse crowd, you know.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
What's this? What's this? It's the jacket.
The jacket.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3. Great sandwich.
Man, your sinewy muscles are just ripped. And look how your gleaming sweat just comes off your golden body, and the women are just looking the same, and all of them want
Double D.
Double zeros, baby!
Double zeros, baby! How's everybody doing? Boy, it's weird because I go from like, man, I hope I have enough to talk about this week, and then stuff hits, and then holy shit, everybody's going crazy, as the Joker says. Well, I am not alone.
Sun won't fail. He's everywhere.
I'll make mincemeat out of you, mouse.
Hola.
The mouse is in the house.
I am in the house today. Thank you for having me.
I got another too.
Can you feel it soothing you? Can you feel it?
It's to keep you centered.
I am centered. How's everybody doing?
In the word in Clerks 2, remember? Like jerking off gets me centered. Yeah, double zeros, baby. Double zeros, baby. I think we found. Unfortunately, Mouse was not here last week. He missed.
That reference is actually lost on me.
Yeah, we'll get him up to speed. Hope everybody's doing great. Already have a nice chat filing in. Holy smokes, a lot to do. We will get to Kyle Brink in a moment. In just a little bit. We'll let everybody file in. But first, we actually have a guest on.
Shut your mouth.
Shut the front door.
We got, before we hit our guest.
Yeah.
hit that bank account.
Ooh, there we go.
Boom.
Little mouse dropping.
Chris
Look
Miller.
what I found behind the fridge.
Kyle couldn't leave soon enough. That's right. Good to see you, Chris. We'll actually see Rogan and I will see Chris hopefully still in person in just a little over a week at VengerCon. So if you're undecided, come on out to Madison next, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, so as we're waiting for people to come in, it's a great... Oh,
Jiminy Christmas.
Jeez. You guys. $50.
Thank you very much.
Jeff, thank you so much, buddy. I know that Kyle Brink probably left on good terms to be some sort of success, but I want to think this is his first step to drugs, tricks, and trans dicks. So happy. I have thoughts on that, Jeff, and you know, I love you, brother, but I'm not sure I agree with that. We'll get into that in just a moment.
Double D, you played a trick on me.
Nope, hold on here. There you go. Oops. Oh boy.
You want to know the trick?
What's that?
You presented the mouse to me upside down.
Oh, really? Oh. Sorry about that.
What's it going over
there? I went to click one thing and I clicked them all.
It's backwards day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mercurius.
Yep.
Gifted a membership. Much appreciated, my friend. Thanks for always being there.
Yep.
Thank you, Mercurius.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's quick go over to our guest.
There he
Hello
is.
there. Matt D.
How are you?
How you doing?
It's like a game of peekaboo.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I know there's big news to get to, and I'm just kind of the appetizer. So hopefully I'll be able to get
I
it.
love appetizers.
We love our cheese moons,
Yeah.
cheese sticks, French fries.
Soft pretzels with beer cheese. You
Really
name it.
spicy
Yeah.
little popcorn shrimpy things that
Yep.
you like.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious. Potato skins.
No, we tried to get hooked up. It was actually last week, but your son had kind of an important baseball game. So I guess I'll start off by asking, how did everything go last week?
The team. So I'm a travel baseball parent, so I have to either strip or produce stuff in book form to manage all those costs. So I am old and not that good. So I decided to write a book. His team made it down to the semifinals. They did really well. I'm super proud of them. They actually lost to the team that won the tournament. So no shame in that. They did really well. He's 14. Give a little shout out to Arizona runners. They did really well. The boys
Shout out to
did great.
Arizona.
There you go. That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, my son played baseball too. He played football as well. But boy, I didn't know enough about football to coach. But I was one of the assistant coaches for his baseball team. I love baseball, and yeah, it's a great time when they're playing. You'll miss it when it's gone.
This is my third one through and my last one through, and I will miss it. There's no doubt about it.
Matt, and I understand I was a travel volleyball dad, so I 1,000,000% understand about the stripping.
All right, so let us talk about Massacre Grounds. You have a Kickstarter up, do you not?
I do. So it's a level 0 funnel and also a campaign setting for Weird Frontiers that I had put together and then submitted to DC.
That's cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's the DCC game, Weird Frontiers. I'll tell you what, before we get into Massacre Grounds itself, do you want to do maybe a little sell job for Weird Frontiers, because that's the system that's actually powering your adventure?
Absolutely. So Weird Frontiers is basically the Weird West. David Beatty wrote it. David Beatty is a firefighter, so one of our first responders. I'm a retired police officer. So when I was looking for a system, I really just loved David. I thought obviously I've got a soft spot for first responders, firemen, police officers, our military. I love our teachers too. I think they don't get enough respect. So when I saw this, it was written by him. I jumped in. It's basically kind of cowboys in the Weird West. There's a different ending to the Civil War. The dark powers kind of intervened and everybody has to fight them instead of fighting each other. I think it's done well. The combat in it, I think, is a little bit better than some of the other games around, in my opinion. Some of the other games around are pretty good. But when I looked at the combat and then, of course, wanting to support David, I jumped into that. I think it's got everything you kind of want in a Western game. And then I wanted to add to that.
So, so we're sort of talking, anybody who's played Deadlands, this is, Weird Frontiers is probably, kind of a, even if it's not in the exact same category, kind of in the, the same church, maybe not the same pew, right?
Yeah, I think it's DCC, so it's a little bit more outlandish at times. And I think that's what makes it fun. You've got the big roles or the big failures. So if you like that style, I mean, I think it really goes well with the Western style because, hey, nobody gets, bucked off the horse and, gently floats to the ground. You get bucked off the horse. So it's for the Western theme. When it goes bad, it really goes bad. So I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Now, and like I said, I know we've talked about DCC, and I think it's a really good system. Of course, Joe Goodman, he's made some missteps. Let's just say. But even if you guys are a little unsure about backing, like Joe Goodman, just remember they're just kind of publishing this game for David Beatty. They do that sometimes. I think maybe they did the same thing with like Mutant Crawl Classics and maybe some of their other stuff. So they are, they are kind of fulfilling a need there. So I would just say, give it a good look. If you're in the market for a new RPG, something a little different, look into Weird Frontiers, and then let's go over to Massacre Grounds. This is the Kickstarter. Now, the link for this is in the description of this live stream. It says the adventure is designed for 12 zero-level characters. So if you're familiar with DCC, this is the funnel, right?
Yeah. So that might sound crazy and a very huge table, but you basically you can play up to 4 characters each. And these are very squishy level zeros, and they're going to die. It's not called Massacre Grounds because we're going to cook things or do anything. It's a race to level up before you get killed. Yeah. There's a few stops in there because it is a setting that I want you to kind of get used to. And I built it out like that because I want to continue to do a level 1, level 2, and it's all based out of Arizona where I live. So the whole premise of it was stories and local folk tales. The area that basically I moved here in '82, and I've been riding horses, camping, been in the outdoors. So a lot of the different settings, a lot of the different history, the different areas are all brought into the book. And I had kind of a lot of fun with it. Obviously, we don't have skeletons crawling out of the ground, but in the book, we sure do.
Nice. Disco Barbarian. $5. Hide your pets. Hide your wife. The horde has arrived. Thank you so much, Disco. That's got to be one of my goals is to get out there. I would always talk with my wife, way back. Like, man, we got to get out to California someday. And I know California itself is beautiful, but obviously just kind of the way the state is just kind of sort of slipping, into Gomorrah, more or less. I've sort of replaced that kind of like with places like Arizona, and out in the desert. I've been to Las Vegas, but I would love to get, down in the deserts of Arizona. It seems like just such beautiful country.
Well, as a thank you for letting me on, and I've actually made this offer to Greg Gillespie also, is if you get out here, I'll get you up on a horse. How that goes is up to you after that, but we'll get you out into the desert. We'll get you up into the mountains a little bit. We'll have some fun. You'll get to see some beautiful scenery. I think Arizona's a great place. It's kind of a live and let live state. I've enjoyed it for my 40 years here. I think it's a great place to live. Not so much in the summer. I think a few people came out for the con that we had, the Crud Con, and I went to it, and people really don't realize how hot like 116 is, 114 is. So they sit in it. During the summer, don't come. The winter, fall, spring, come.
Chris Miller, $2. Thank you, Chris. I want to see the Massacre Grounds coffee brand. Ooh, Massacre Grounds, yeah.
Hey, I'm a big coffee fan. If that works out, let me know.
Little play on words there. Thank you, Chris.
Greg Gillespie's actually in the chat. He said he's coming.
Oh, there you go.
Rock and roll.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said he's going to take a hiatus, and I look forward to getting that big son of a gun on a horse. I've got one about 17 hands, which is I'm about 6 foot tall, so it's going to fit Greg nicely. We'll get him up there, and of course there'll be pictures.
I was on a horse. My sister used to live in Dallas, and I was on a horse at like age, I think 15 or 16. I was scared to death. I was like, you don't realize how high up off the ground you are, you know, and it was the most tame thing ever, you know, it just kind of waltzed around the yard a little bit, trotted around. But I would love to do it again because I think now I would appreciate it a little bit more.
Well, the offer's there, and I don't, when I take people out on our horses, the private ones, what I do is I take you in the pen and let you kind of get used to the horse. And then after that, we open up the gate, somebody fires off a gun, and you just learn as it runs.
Here you go.
Kind of like teaching a baby how to swim. Just throw them right in the water.
Yeah. Holding on for dear life.
No, we will not do that. I promise. We will teach you how to ride first, and then we will get you off. And once you get out there in the scenery, you'll really enjoy it. It's really a peaceful thing. It's something I do every day. So it was kind of a natural progression when I thought about what I was going to write. Originally, I had written a baseball RPG, and it's at the editor right now. But I talked to Greg, and if you want an honest answer, just ask Greg. He's going to give you one. Whether you like it or not, He's going to tell you the honest answer. I love that about him. So he was like, Matt, I don't know if that's going to be a big seller. You might want to do some other stuff first. And then, so I'm like, well, I could write cowboy stuff, you know, in my sleep. I just have been around campfires. I've been around horses. During COVID, everybody got laid off. Our business got shut down. I actually went back to, I'm a retired police officer, I should add. I didn't get laid off as being a police officer. But I went back to working at a dude ranch. And I went back to taking out dude rides just because I didn't want to sit around and do anything. And it was funny when I went out to the ranch, they were like, "You're trying to get a job for your son?" I was like, "No, I'm trying to get a job for me. I'm bored. I don't want to sit around."
Yeah.
So it's just fun. And so I've been doing it my whole life, and it's just something I do on a daily basis. So it was easy to write.
Bleecker, my old girlfriend had a horse face. Hey, get the rim shot for Bleecker.
I'm looking for it.
It's weird you say that about the baseball RPG, and I do agree with Greg. It would be a niche market, but man, you talk about something that's almost completely unserved in the tabletop RPG field. It is like sports RPGs, where you can do like behind the scenes stuff. You could figure out systems to do between the lines stuff. I'm always thinking about that stuff. Like, damn, I know, you know, like a lot of these guys in the chat, they don't give two shits about sports, but there is a small percentage of them that do, you know, and they're kind of like me. They grew up, and probably you as well. Like, you know, they were kind of like Renaissance kids, I guess, you know, where they kind of like sports and D&D, you know. I never thought anything about it. So yeah, I think there is a market there. It ain't going to be a huge one, but it's got to be there, right?
Well, I hope so. I was the same way. I grew up playing multiple sports, and D&D in the 80s, late 70s. I mean, you just kind of kept it to yourself. You didn't like go out and brag that you were playing Dungeons and Dragons. It just wasn't something you did. So, you know, I had my Dungeons and Dragons friends that were, to this day, are still good friends of mine. And then I had my sports friends, and they just kind of kept separate. It was just funny, which is people were like, "Oh, well, girls weren't welcome there." That wasn't true. You just didn't go up and talk to girls and say, "I got my D&D module. You want to play with me?" I mean, that just didn't happen. So
you would have been branded, like you would not have been able to show your face at school anymore.
No, it just was not. I tell people we were actually lower than comic book nerds, and it just was. And I'm both. So I was like a super hybrid. I love. Growing up, I loved comic books. I loved to read. I So I got into both, and then just kind of naturally progressed. The baseball RPG, I think, is solid. I'm going to put it out. Obviously, this is coming first. I wanted to get my name out there from talking to people. We were originally supposed to have the book at Texas so I could walk around and like just sell myself, sell the book, sign it. That didn't happen because of printing issues. The book is done. And then, you know, being advised by some people that know what they're doing in the industry, they're like, no, Matt, you need to go to Kickstarter. People need to get to know you. So you kind of have to put yourself out there. You know, on the flip side of that, putting yourself out there as a police officer, retired police officer, some people don't like us. So it's hard to like just go from like, I'm going to sit in the corner. So like gunfighter style, that's me. I go sit in the corner. I talk to anybody. I, you know, generally lead with kindness. But, you know, when you are a police officer, you're just used to kind of people not liking you. So you sit kind of over in the corner. And this is kind of a different role for me to get out there and kind of be more public, I guess. But it's also something that, you know, I think I put together a good product. You're flipping through it. If you scroll back down, you'll see the skeletons coming out of, oh, that's my main bad guy right there up on the screen. Ooh. That's Roscoe.
Nice.
So Roscoe is your worst nightmare when you wander into a cave and you realize this is someone's home. He's part necromancer. He's part hermit. He's definitely unsocial, but he has a nice pet, and that's his crow Eunice. But yeah, he's going to raise everything dead that he collects and eats in his cave, and he's going to send it at you when you finally show down with him at the end.
Like the White Walkers, like the Night King.
Yeah, it's definitely has some similarities. Nothing hasn't been done, but I think he's kind of got a unique setting. So what you're on right there is actually the Massacre Grounds, which is actually a real place. So when I say it's a Massacre Grounds, I know somebody in the chat was like, oh, that sounds like a great coffee company. But it's actually a place in Arizona. It's a real historical place. And I took real historical places from Arizona and obviously put a spin on them for the weird and the scary. But Massacre Grounds was basically... It's a place in Arizona history that has been disputed. Some people say, you know, there were white settlers that were slaughtered there. Debunking everything, it looked like the Pima Indian tribe, the women and the children were collecting cactus fruit. Their men were off on a couple ridges away, and they were slaughtered by Apaches. Their bones kind of sat where they lay for several years. So I thought that was a good story. Not that it happened, but I thought it was a good story. And okay, that's pretty spooky. So let's work on that. So yeah, that's them crawling out of the ground. And obviously there's some background to all that I put in and took some personal liberties with, but I had a lot of fun with it.
That's, you know, I think people find that, you know, when you write what you know, that's probably your sweet spot. You know, not that you of course can't, you know, go outside of it, but you obviously know the country, you have a passion for it. So I'm interested to see how this works out. I'm going to back this. I'm going to pick up Weird Frontiers too. You know, it seems like a pretty decent game. You know, like I said, say what you like about you know, Joe Goodman and, you know, all that. You know, DCC seems like it can be a real fun system. You know, it's not original D&D, but you know, if you're going to play something outside of it, you know, there are far worse choices than it.
Well, and can I touch on that a little bit? Yeah. So this is produced through my company, and that's Cranky Clydesdale Publishing. David is producing his stuff through his I should know, the Stiff Whisker. So you're supporting a small publisher in me. If you have an issue with Goodman, I wouldn't talk you out of that one way or the other. That's your issue. I can just tell you that he granted us the license. He granted David the license. And you are actually supporting me, my family, travel baseball. You're keeping me off the pole. Please do that. Nobody wants to see that anymore. But you're supporting a small publisher. Yeah. It's a good game. DCC, it has a great community behind it. They also do support new writers like myself. They have workshops. They have all kinds of stuff. So it's really, for a first-time publisher, it's a really great place to start. I will just tell you that. After that, I don't try to change people's views on people. I think that should be done over drinks, sitting at a table where we can actually react to each other and then shake hands if we disagree and walk away. But
yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Well, I just said, yeah, and Greg's, even said in the chat here, Goodman's not worth supporting, but Dave Beatty is worth supporting. Yeah. So like I said, everybody you have to decide where your own red line is. That's what I've always said in this channel. When I'm telling you about, some of the bad things maybe some folks have done who are creating some of the games you may like. I'm not telling you not to, to play it anymore. I'm just saying, here's the information, does it cross your red line? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people are like, you know what? I'll put up with a little bit of that because the world ain't cut and dry, but if they go further, maybe I will. Or, and some people maybe do put a hard line out. And just like you, I don't judge either way. Like I said, I came into this playing 5th edition D&D, and we had an okay time for a while. But obviously after everything Wizards of the Coast has done over the last couple of years, I'm kind of glad we're sort of out of that world.
Well, and I think that's a good point, is you bring up, if you're looking for other things to play and you're looking for authentic stuff, I think this is one of those things that you might take a look at. You're fighting some pretty good stuff here. In David's game, you're fighting some pretty good monsters. I will give David a shout out. Obviously, he's a fireman. I put a setting down because when you're a police officer, what you do is you're the blue canary. You drive in, you make the scene nice and safe, and then the firemen come in and they're heroes, right? So we always do that for him. So I said, well, I'm just going to do it for you again because that's what I'm comfortable with. You can ride in and be the hero and take all the credit, and I'll do my thing. And so that is obviously a little backhanded at David. David's a great guy if you've ever met him. He's recovering from an on-duty injury right now. So if you're listening, David, I hope you feel better. I know he fell down. He called me. He was having trouble about that. So I'm really hoping, I'm rooting for him. This game is great. If you play Weird Frontiers, we've done it, and I've done it at some conventions. It's really a fun setting. If you like Deadlands, you're almost positive to like this. Call of Cthulhu. I think the battle system that we have in Weird Frontiers is better. But make your own decision. Everything, the PDF is reasonable. Try it.
It's only I think $10 for the PDF. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, $10. There you go. Let's see if we can.
I'll back it.
Move the needle here a little bit. Yeah, and I guess you mentioned Deadlands, and look, if you do have a hard line on DCC, it would be hard for me to believe that your work here on Massacre Grounds couldn't be easily kind of converted by a experienced DM over to Deadlands. I mean, yeah, you may have to eyeball probably some stats and all that, but I'm sure the general gist of what's going on in this adventure could certainly transfer over to Deadlands. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for 40 years. I mean, in one form and another. So I think systems transcend. It's not easy. It's not hard to learn a different system or bring your stuff into another system. If it gets popular enough, I'll put it in all three. I mean, if there's a call for it and people really stepped out. But that's not to say that I'm unhappy where I'm at. If you scroll back, I want to talk about that little critter you scrolled by, the little cactus guy.
Oh, yeah.
So that is a rattlesnake choya. So we have jumping choya in Arizona. They're actually called either teddy bear choya, which it's not warm and cuddly, or they're chain choya. So I took the teddy bear choya and turned it into a rattlesnake. In actuality, when you ride by a choya, if you even come close to it or brush up against it, the needles are so microscopically fine that they will grab onto you. And once they grab onto you, if you grab it with your other hand or try to kick it off, it just gets more in your skin and turns into this holy mess. We have problems with animals getting into them, all kind of stuff. So that kind of said, well, okay, it kind of bites on you like a rattlesnake. So of course, the real jumping choya doesn't have venom, but mine does. So Joey Dosel, a great artist, did that for me. I think working with him was spectacular. The whole book has 20 pieces of original art in it. Henry Martinez did the cover. Joey did the majority of the art, but Carlos Castillo from Brazil did Roscoe, which you showed already, and then some other scenes for me. And I think all the artists just really killed it. They did a really good job.
Oh yeah,
and
I like this. Yeah.
In return, that art can kill you or your level 0 characters.
That's right. Yeah, this is a funnel, so chances are at least one of your 3 or 4 characters is gonna probably find their way into this nasty mess here.
Well, it's funny because Joey designed that for me. I wrote all the stats for it, but Joey, when we were talking back and forth, he was like, "Okay, what do you want? I want this." And then so he played some of the play testing for it, and then yeah, I killed him with his own monster.
Nice. Here you see the backer levels. $10 for the PDF, $15 if you want the print on demand. Of course, you'll have to just bear the shipping costs there. And then $50, you get all that. Plus, you will run a game for that person up to the first 20, I think it looks like, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how many spots are left, but yeah. So obviously, I told you I've been playing for 40 years. I thought this would be a fun way to do it. My original first idea was we were going to get people loaded up on horses and go out to the site and play it out there. But that is a logistical nightmare. Plus, insurance-wise, it's not real doable. I'm pretty insane. I thought, okay, I'll do that. And then we also had a forest fire, so we're not getting in that area anytime soon. So I thought this was the next best thing. You can log on, play with me. There's some fun people. If you look at people that have backed already, there's some fun people in that group already. That's just going to be a good time. I'll set it up where everybody can do it. We'll probably do groups of 5. And then we'll just have a good time with it. You won't run 4 characters. You'll run 2 or 3.
Excellent. Massacre Grounds Coffee uses a filter, not a funnel. Good one, Travis.
Ironcaster just backed it.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Ironcaster. Yeah, I kind of had let's refresh here.
My video is up on there. The video shows some of the art, but it gets loud and it gets me talking. So I don't know if you want to click on that because it's probably going to, you'll hear my voice and echoing, but some of the art is in there.
I will let everybody hear. The link is in the description for this live stream, so you can go over there. You can check out the video. But honestly, guys, $10 for a PDF from someone like Matt, just super guy, former police officer. Thank you also for doing the job that, quite frankly, these days not a lot of folks want to do.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's funny because my friends were like, you're really doing this? And I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, this is something I've wanted to do. I think everybody that has ever played Dungeons and Dragons has made, at some point made their own dungeon. My dungeon just happens to be in the Old West. And I think 12-year-old me right now is super excited. And it's just something that, I think we all fantasized about it. We grew up, reading Dragonlance. We grew up, just playing the game. And then as it went on, I was just like, okay, I can do this. And not to toot my own horn, as I can write. And, the thing about police officers, we learn to write reports. We tell stories for a living. And so I think it was a natural fit. And like I said, be prepared. The baseball game's coming. The follow-up game to this is actually already written. So that will be, nice. And my thing about it is to keep using Arizona as the setting and keep building out on it. So we'll explore the different Old West, and Arizona has some crazy Old West history. The mines, Prescott obviously was our capital at one time, huge Western town that's still alive today. And I haven't even mentioned Tombstone yet. But besides that, we have old ghost towns. We have the weird, we have aliens, we have all kinds of stuff. I think it's basically a great place to explore this whole weird West. So that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's like you said, certainly fertile ground, and it's ground that well. So I think your efforts are well expended there. But like I said, when you're ready to do the baseball game, I will support that mofo. Because, like I said, I got to think there's going to be a small but loyal audience for that kind of stuff. We'll see, but
And I'll talk about that real quick if you're not. I know you
Go
guys
ahead.
are dying to talk about your things.
We got all night.
We got it.
We're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
that works.
We're good.
So my baseball RPG is unnamed yet because I want to come up with something great. But I think when you look at other baseball games, you roll percentage dice and that's all you do. Mine is actually, when I started exploring it, I'm like, the duel between the batter and the pitcher is two guys fighting. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons. So I explored that in, you're rolling a whole bunch of dice, you're going back and forth, he's throwing a pitch, you're swinging. If that works out and you hit it, okay. But if not, it's just like, okay, next round. And obviously 3 strikes you're out, but we do 4 balls, 3 strikes, you know, any combination of baseball rules. And then after the ball gets hit, we look into the fielders, and then I've got them statted. I've got the field playing off the dice. It's a really great game. I'm hoping to debut that at LongCon. So it'll be there for play test.
Tell me about LongCon. That's the second time you mentioned it.
Okay, so North Texas is the first one I mentioned, and I was just there. That is a wonderful convention that you will just love. Everybody is.
I know
it's like a
Greg
big-
goes there.
Oh, Greg convinced me to go, and so did David, and it's one of the best conventions ever. So, not to take away from LongCon. So, a lot of the guys that went and gals that went to LongCon North Texas are honestly at LongCon. I got to meet a bunch of people, and they invited me back. They were just kind and generous with their time. So they're like, "Hey, Matt, you can run Massacre Grounds," which, you know, hopefully, if we've run all the test games first, I will do that. If not, I will run a different adventure. But I'm also going to have the baseball RPG. I have like a baseball field, and I have minis, which everybody loves, and I've got it set up. So I'm going to try to run that there. LongCon is a smaller con. If it runs anything like North Texas, it's just everybody goes and plays. Everybody puts politics, everything else on the side, and we just all go there and have fun. And nobody's grandstanding, nobody's having any kind of issues. It's going and doing your RPG. So if you want to play Weird Frontiers, if you want to play Castles and Crusaders, you want to play just name it. They've got some big name people going. I know David and Greg are both guests of honor. I haven't looked at the other guest of honor list, but it's a pretty big thing. And it's just a really fun group. It's just mellow. It's just kind of like an old school RPG hangout. I would go. So I am. It's just I think it's one of those don't miss ones.
Excellent. Snake Oil Sean, thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Always appreciate that, Sean. Thank you so much. Chris Miller, $5. I live down the road from Doc Holliday's house and dentist practice. I love Western stuff almost as much as D&D. Yeah, it's a cool genre.
It is a cool genre, and it's something that I want to explore. Obviously, getting down towards Tombstone, I'm imagining he's there, but it could be anywhere towards Arizona. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool genre, and I think it fits itself well. And kind of the sky's the limit of where we want to go with it. I think other aspects of it can come into play. And then, my character class, I forgot to mention that. Can I mention that real quick?
Sure.
So in the adventure, you also get a new character class. So obviously in the West, we never rode mountain lions, bears, and wolves, but I thought, why not? So I added a warrior class that is specifically, you ride a big animal. So my first 3 are, so they're not really subclasses. I know we talk about subclass, everything's got to be a subclass. It's not. It's just 3 different animal choices. They all have different abilities. It's not supernatural other than they get to do cool stuff when you roll the dice. When you roll well, it goes really well. And when you roll bad, not so much. It's still a big animal. But you're kind of an old school warrior. The animals don't like you shooting off of them, which most people don't. If you've ever been on a horse, horses have to be extremely trained for you to shoot or hunt off them. They also don't like dead bodies, which is a fun thing because I talked to David about it. I was like, you let your dead ride horses? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, horse won't go anywhere near dead. And he's like,
that's right.
Really? And so we started talking, and it was like but he had wrote it, and it's still a good story. But I was like, yeah, there's some realness in there that I've added. Obviously, you can't actually ride a mountain lion in real life, but you can in my class. I think
that's why it's a game, right? You want to do things you can't do in real life. So
well, that was one of my selling points. I called up when you write something in somebody else's IP, you have to ask permission, and I did that twice during this. So I used David's obviously IP in Weird Frontiers, and I called him up and I said, hey, I want to build this adventure. I'm going to do it the setting. And I said, by the way, I'm going to write a character class that we're going to ride a big cat. And David is a huge cat lover. So I had him hooked about the word cat. So he is big into cat rescue. So I knew what I was doing there. But I wanted to ride a bear because I'm like, that would be awesome. Grizzly Adams, you want to ride a bear. And then I thought, okay.
BJ and the bear.
Yeah. Well, that was a monkey, but
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, and because if you guys talk about silly videos, Man on a Buffalo, you guys ever watch that? It is the most awful thing, and it's just I think Man on a Buffalo is. Well, look it up. It's a YouTube thing.
Well, there was a Riff Tracks movie they did called Buffalo Rider.
Yeah.
This dude went around. He rode a buffalo, and it looked like more trouble than it was worth.
It absolutely would be. But I mean, I actually thought about it because we do have buffalo. But then I'm like, okay, we're going to start out small, and we're just going to do wolf, bear, and mountain lion. And so that is a new class that you actually get. So you get a new bestiary with plenty of new stuff that will kill you. You get a new class, and then it's 49 pages altogether. So it's nice, thick, and juicy. And I've got plenty of Easter eggs and NPCs buried into the adventure so you can walk around. And I want to hear back from fans that actually buy it. And I want to hear what you did with the NPCs. So I didn't do all that work building them and putting pictures of them for them not to be used. I want you to build out on this. I have NPCs hidden all over the place. If you run from A to B in the funnel, you won't see them, a lot of them. But others, if you explore around, which level zeros really don't do, some of them are buried in there just for the judges, the game masters, and it's for you to build your own stuff off of. So if someone finds Amelia, my little living dead out in the, well, I'm not going to just say where she is.
Yeah, don't say.
Don't say it. So if someone finds Amelia, let me know. She's cool. She's a little girl that has lost her way, and if you find her, she's pretty deadly, but not, if you make friends.
There you go.
So I have some wild stuff buried in there, some history stuff that I hope you'll appreciate. But hey, I really appreciate you having me on, especially as soon as I saw the news hit today, I was like, oh man. I said,
no. This is a perfect lead-in.
Yeah.
I'll clean up a couple super chats here, though. Doc Flamingo, thank you so much for gifting membership. Always appreciated. Thank you so much, Doc. Thanks for always being there, Doc. Disco Barbarian. There you go. If you don't have a title yet, he suggests bottom of the ninth or on deck for your baseball game. Go ahead, Crazy.
Now, do I owe him directly for that?
Yeah.
You can wrestle that one out amongst yourselves.
Have your lawyers talk to each other.
Yeah.
There you go.
Westerns are cool because they're part of our DNA. Absolutely, Disco Barbarian. Yeah, part of our shared. It's as Americans, we're such a young country. That is sort of our culture. Those are our knights in shining armor. Sort of. And the Edgelord, baseball like Blood Bowl game. Yeah, base brawl. There you go. You could have a offshoot of it. And
I will say that
again.
Oh, I'm not going to catch up.
Rattlesnake rollerblades make it happen. Rattlesnake rollerblades. I like it, Doc. Yeah, $2. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Matt.
So you can't. What the idea is there's a franchise you're building up on the field, but you also do off the field. You do interviews with reporters. It was designed around the late 1800s, early 1900s. So there's roles where you interview. There's roles for injury, and then it's designed so you can take your players off the field and get into kind of hijinks, kind of Scooby-Doo type adventures. So it's kind of designed to be an all-inclusive package, and I think I did a good job with it.
It's a way to do it, I think. Yeah. Sean wants to know for Massacre Grounds, can you play an Arizona Ranger?
So technically, you could play one because you'd be a gunslinger. I will tell you that you, as one of my NPCs, and thank you for giving me this lead in, you actually get to meet an Arizona Ranger and his ward. So he's an NPC that's buried in the book. So I think that was a cool part of Arizona history. It's not period correct, but if the territory was settled earlier, it could be. So if you're a true Arizona historian, it's a little early to have Arizona Rangers, but I'm like, no, they came in early. There is one in the book.
Okay. Yeah, Bob. Hey, Travis says, ask Matt about the Capybara Riders.
Capybara Riders.
There you go.
Okay, so I was on the T-shirt historian, and I was talking about the class, and I have a 17-year-old son, I have a 14-year-old son, and I have a 25-year-old son. So my son's favorite animal is a capybara. So when I showed him the bear, the wolf, the mountain lion, he was summarily unimpressed. So he's like, what if we could ride a capybara? And I was like, oh, wow. So that kind of steamrolled. Of course, they asked me about it too. And I started laughing. I'm like, that's the second person that says capybara. So Joey Dosel, who I've had a lot of fun doing this book with, it's never seemed like we were doing work. We were just goofing around it. So I had mentioned it to him, or I think he watched the show. And the next morning, first thing, I get a capybara ride. He's like, go ahead, stat it. Here it is. So we have worked, because you asked for it, we have worked that into the book. You don't actually get to play a capybara rider yet, but you will actually see the artwork in the follow-up adventure when that's a little, unfortunately. Well, get me through this one, and then I'll take care of you. I promise. I'll give Double D a little preview of the art. I'll send it to him so you guys can see it. But yeah,
please do. Yeah,
I love all the silliness. I think that's part of the genre of playing. And
for sure.
So yeah, who doesn't want to ride a giant rat or a giant rodent?
Disco Barbarian gives you he gives you clearance for using either of those names. There you go. He paid $2 for it too. So thank you, Disco.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're gonna we'll let you go. But guys, as I said, the link is in the description of the live stream. You're already about halfway there, which is pretty good. This is your first Kickstarter, right?
First Kickstarter, and we're a week and a day in. So
there you go.
I'm so thankful that everybody's supporting me. Keep going though. Let's get there.
Yeah.
And then let's get past it. And I've got some stretch goals. And one of the stretch goals is some of the stories. I actually tell you a lot more about them, and I tell you a lot more about the NPCs that are all characters of these old cowboys out of my life. So I kind of give you. It's not an R or an X rated version, but it's a PG-13-ish. It will not be put out in PDF. It's only been put out in the print form, just because I don't want people to cut and paste it, because I basically talk about me, and it pulls no punches. I'm unapologetically myself. I've never tried to be anything for anybody else. So if we get to that $5,000 mark, you guys all get that for the Kickstarter. I think it's awesome. And I really want to share that with you, because you learn all the laughs and the jokes behind, and some of them are not very PC, and I'm sure I'm going to get a little bit of flack for it. None of them are anything that I'm ashamed of. It's just part of my colorful life. When you grow up, in the mountains around campfires, guys act the way they act. We did some crazy, stupid stuff. The book is dedicated to all these old cowboys that are all gone now. So the writing the book was kind of cathartic, but if you get me there, I promise you won't be disappointed. I've got that written also. I've also committed to giving North Texas a copy so they can auction off. That's the only other copy that's coming out after that. We're breaking the mold. I'm never selling it. If you back it, you'll get it. If not, it's dying with me after that. I told North Texas I would give them one, and I think that con is that good, that they're just awesome people. They auction stuff off.
When is this North Texas con? What time of year?
It just happened, so it's in the summer. Right?
It's in the early summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who doesn't want to go to Texas in the summer? You stop in Texas.
I have felt that heat. Yeah, it was 104 degrees when I stepped off the plane in August. I was like, "Whoa, that is hot." Doc Flamingo, $10. The Old West is fascinating because it was really just a 20 to 25 year period, but exists in the imagination almost as another timeless world. It has an eternal quality about it. Exactly, Doc. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, it is our sort of King Arthur, knights. It's our legend. It really is the only American legend that we have. We're such a young country. That's why it's so important. And I think it looks like you're doing good work. I will back this. everybody look, as I said, just give it a shot. Take a look.
$10.
$10 for the PDF.
Skip Starbucks 2 days in a row.
Yeah, there you go. Good Lord, almost one day these days. It's getting up there, isn't it? But yeah, we talk about small creators and how cynical some of the big companies are. Here's your chance to kind of put your money where your mouth is. You can use it for Weird Frontiers. Yeah, I maintain you could probably use it for Deadlands if you are willing to put in a little elbow grease. Edgelord says he's in, so good to hear. Matt, we loved having you here, and I'd actually love to talk to you again sometime. You're a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, we absolutely. We'll look forward to that. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So thank you to everybody. I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to obviously get out of here, and then I'm looking forward to the rest of your show.
Yeah, jump right in the chat.
Thanks for doing the dirty work of being a cop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for doing that.
I've known a couple of police officers in my life. One was is a close family friend, and it's thankless work. And you guys don't get enough credit. So thanks. I echo what Crazy Mouse said. Thank you very much, as I'm sure most of the chat does too. All right, yep, Matt, we'll talk to you soon, and best of luck to you on the Kickstarter.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Good night.
Oh my Lord, we got like multiple things going there. I gotta remember.
I like them. I like Matt. I like the type of game, just from him describing it. Guys, like about more than a dozen years ago, I ran a cartoonish like D&D campaign for the group. And I like lighthearted stuff. So this type of game is like exactly like something that I would like.
Yeah, for sure. Give it a look, guys. You saw Matt. He seems like a really, really cool dude.
$10.
I'm backing it.
Came highly recommended from Greg Gillespie. And I did kind of interact with Matt just a little bit in Greg's live play of Dragon Slayer. Speaking of that, we will have Otto and Roland a little bit later on here. Using the Dragon Slayer rules. Yeah, Matt seems like a good, solid dude. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, hey, guys, like I said, give it a chance. I think he has a lot of knowledge, in that head of his, about the desert and all that stuff. So
it comes out, you can tell it when he talks.
Yeah.
He's passionate about it. I like that.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, you're going to get something, I think, that's a little deeper than maybe, somebody who's just maybe is trying to do good research on something, but the only thing they know is like what they read in a book.
I just feel like Double D to piggyback off of that. It's almost like a tour guide. And, and maybe you get a tour guide who just does it for a job, but then you get a tour guide who has all the insider information, and he'd be the guy you want to be your tour guide. Like, I see what this plaque says here, but let me tell you a little bit more about that story,
The story behind the story.
Yep.
All right, so let's...
Greg was in for a while. I don't know if he still is, but he bopped in for a little bit.
Yep.
I couldn't put him up because we had his book pictures on there, and you know how when you click on a chat, it doesn't show up that way. Yeah.
All right, so remember, guys, time's running out. If you want to go to VentureCon, see me, Rogan, Mrs. D, and Chris Miller. And, of course, the inimitable Venger Satanis. As well as a bunch of other, I'm going to guess, pretty cool guys. I think he already has a decent crowd. So we're looking forward to it. I'm going to end up running 2 games. I'm going to run one Friday and Saturday. So, come on out if you can. And if you do come, I'm going to be giving away this. That is the compiled. I gave this out a little while back. This is just the compiled BX rules in hardback. So if you come to VentureCon, you'll get a little gift from old Double D. All right. So move on again. Like I said, we thank Matt. Check out that Kickstarter. So the big news of the day.
What could that be?
Dun, dun, dun.
What could that be? Well, all right, so I'm just going to run the video. I think, I don't know what the hell their name is, Mastering the Dungeon or something like that. It's like that boring Teos. Oh boy, and I think I forgot to. I think I forgot to chop it down, so I may have to.
We'll have to warp it.
Yeah, I may have to. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I know where about it is though. Let's put Mastering Dungeons with Teos, something or other.
Abadia.
Yeah.
One thing about while you're finding that, I love like that Southwestern cuisine too. Like I love like Southwestern.
Oh yeah.
Food. Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. 1 second here. I want to make sure my my audio is hooked up. Yeah. So
Nixit's stopping in on his dinner break. He says hello to everybody.
Hey, Nixit.
Yep.
Hi, Nixit.
What was for dinner?
Jeff Hatch says that guy had a hard-on for Kyle Brink.
Yeah. All right, so see if we can hear this thing now.
They Van's going to a mini con this weekend. Disco wants to know where the con's at. Clovis, California is the answer.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with the audio here on our end. Don't necessarily need it. Like I said, just trying to. I don't know what. Sometimes OBS is a cruel mistress. It allows you to do certain things, but it can also be, well, kind of a bitch. All right. All right, so that works. I just don't know why.
This is not.
I thought about that Legos thing for days and days and days after our show.
yeah, maybe we'll have to go.
That really stuck with me.
Yeah. All right, so Sean Merwin and what's his name, Teos Abadea. For some reason, the audio is we're not working on that on our end, but I think the other videos are. $5 Canadian off-grid Grognard. How you doing, sir? Wizards of the Coast corporate policy hasn't changed. Brink just said the quiet part out loud. This is a ritual changing of the scapegoat. Hail BlackRock. Yeah, exactly. All right, so they said Teos Abadia of that Mastering Dungeons said, Kyle Brink, they reached out and said, hey, is Kyle Brink still working there? And Wizards of the Coast came back with a very terse, we can confirm that Kyle Brink no longer is employed here. Okay, now if you guys remember, when what's her name, the Cynthia Williams left, I kind of said I thought she went of her own volition. Doc Flamingo, $5. Did everyone hear? Mr. Guys Like Me can't leave the hobby soon enough. Just lost his job. LOL. Yep. Yeah. So when Cynthia Williams left, some people were saying, "Oh, they got rid of her. Oh yeah, she's done." They cut her ass, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I work in a Fortune 500 company, and I kind of know a bad departure from a good one by what they put out there as far as like the press, how they comment on it. And I said, they don't usually wish people that they fired the best of luck in their future endeavors and all that. I kind of thought that was a mutual, either a mutual agreement or, it was, Cynthia's choice. And I think I ended up being right because she got a job at Funko.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
How much is a purchase?
How much is a purchase? I think it was less than a month later. So I think she may have had something lined up. But the wording, when all they said to that Teos was, we can confirm that Kyle Brink no longer works here. Plus there's no public release at all.
No wishing him the best.
Yeah, no wishing him the best. It just kind of slunk out the side door. I am wondering whether there was something more going on there. I can't obviously say for sure.
They were probably waiting him to leave the game. I finally got tired of it. We're waiting. Come on. Go.
And as somebody said, meet the old boss, new boss, same as the old boss. This is Jess Lanzillo.
There's Patrick.
Patrick Demo, $10. Thank you so much, Patrick. Kyle's gone. Excellent. Wizards of the Coast is officially 50% less gay. You got your wish, Kyle. A guy like you left the hobby. Don't let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out. you member you. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody's just kind of like, oh, everybody woke up today. Kyle Brink is gone. And so then we find out that this woman, Jess Lanzillo, is, I guess, fulfilling his duties. This is her LinkedIn. It's a little weird here because this is her Wizards of the Coast experience. VP, franchise, and product, D&D. February 2024 to present, 6 months. So it has me wondering, when did Kyle get the boot or, quit? I guess we'll have to put both of those out there because we don't know. Has she been doing his job for 6 months? Now, it may not necessarily be the case. She may have had this VP job before, and then when he left, and maybe if it was this month, they just said, oh, by the way, now you're going to do Kyle's job. But still, I don't know. It seems like they would bring someone like her in to maybe do his job. So I'm wondering if this has been kept a secret for a while.
Well, he certainly did a good job for them in regards to making it as unpopular for people like us.
Yes,
it really it kind of reminds me of who's the guy that did the interference for during the Gulf War situation there.
Baghdad Bob.
Baghdad Bob. Yes, everything is
that's
fine.
Not who I was going to say.
Everything is fine.
Thanks for saying that because I was about to say Stormin' Norman.
Stormin' Norman. He was one of the good guys.
Yeah.
$2 Canadian off Greg Gognard again. Thank you so much. Maybe he'll go on to start an armored car company. Ooh, the Brinks company. Yes.
Oof.
Lean into your strengths, Kyle. Thank you, OGG.
Maybe you got a job with the Pinkertons.
Yeah. All right, so now I'm trying to suss. Okay, Kyle leaves either recently or as far back as perhaps February. Who knows? It'd be hard for me to believe they could keep it a secret for that long, but who knows? Maybe they have.
Maybe they just reduced his role, but he really wasn't gone.
Yeah.
They gave him some quote-unquote special project to work on as they were phasing him out and phasing her in.
Yeah, and, maybe he's like Joel Fleischman in like the last season of Northern Exposure. He's kind of there, kind of not, essentially getting demoted.
Do you know what would be a great idea?
Go ahead.
I'm just throwing this out there. What if we got somebody we know just to go work there?
Ooh, like deep cover.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just start. You know how like the mailroom people always know all the shit?
Yeah.
Just go work in the mailroom and then just work your way. Build trust with everybody. That would be a really good idea.
Who do we send in there?
Let's think about it. That'd be a good one. I mean, Chad, if you got somebody, let us know. But I just think that'd be such a great idea.
Yeah,
all this stuff would be constantly be getting leaked out on the lair.
We have them. Yeah, they're going to be like, who is the mole? Who is the mole?
What is going on?
Surly says there is no 6th season of that. I know what you mean. Where me and my wife are about 6 episodes in. Although you know what? You know who took over after the original guys came out? David Chase. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Crazy Mouse.
Yep.
Sopranos.
It's the
fame.
jacket.
It's the jacket.
Oh, yeah. Nixon's is saying it could be me.
Yeah, let's get
Edgelord said he'd get fired in a week. I just think like delivering the mail around that office and just being like, hey, what's going on? And what's the scuttlebutt today? Were we getting tacos? Whatever. And then just finding out like, oh, and then every Wednesday just being like, big news from Wizards of the Coast today.
Like, guys, why is that new guy from the mailroom going through my Rolodex?
Yeah.
Like Kaiser Soze on the inside. All right, so all right, so I saw this and I just kind of chuckled. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, things are definitely going to change. Things are definitely going to get better. So I started to look a little bit further in. Okay, she's got been at Wizards.
Go back one page, if you could.
Yeah.
I thought on the bottom she got her paralegal certification. Okay, I saw that paralegal and I just wanted to see what that was about. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. She got. I don't know how hard is it to get the.
I don't know, but I just didn't know. Like, so her background, she does have some legal stuff in her background too.
So she went to night school.
Yeah.
She's busy.
Oh man, I'm looking at her, and they did an interview with her. I'm gonna try to look it up here. Jess Lanzillo.
Erie, PA.
I think it's this one here. Okay, so we can go. All right, so I'm gonna put that down for a second. We'll look at this.
She looks like a snarky ex-wife. Says
yeah.
Disco Barbarian.
Yeah, D&D exec teases Stranger Things ahead for 50th anniversary. So I think this was before they knew she had taken over, maybe, because she was just the VP of franchise and product. I think that's more of maybe a promotional role. Now she's the EVP, which means she oversees. So she's like Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford's boss.
Chris just hit us up.
Yep, thank you so much.
She looks like a third place winner in a Lisa Loeb concert. A Lisa Loeb lookalike contest.
Yes, she does. Chris Miller, thank you very much. $5.
Or someone drew Lisa Loeb from memory and they came up with her.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a
you
long
know,
time.
you 90s guys out there, we know. Lisa Loeb.
Stay.
Ad week. I don't know what this rag is. All right, so let me see if I can make this a little bigger for us.
Birdcage liner.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, this is June 24th, so
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know if they spilled the beans yet. Jess Lanzillo rolls deep with D&D and not just with her trusty die 20. I kind of backward engineered my way into D&D, she revealed. The Indiana-born gamer recalls how a childhood spent playing King's Quest and other story-based Sierra game titles gave way to a tween-age fascination with early 90s bulletin board systems, followed by a high school career filled with Magic the Gathering and D&D sessions at her local comic shop. I get a feeling that the D&D has just been kind of tacked on here. I think she oversaw like a lot of Magic stuff early on. I think that's where most of her bones were made. She didn't surrender her D&D character sheets after receiving her diploma. Her love for the game followed her to college and into her early career in advertising. It was just a way to blow off steam on weekends. It kept my creative thinking sharp. Not for nothing, but I understand that's a colloquial term, fine for conversation. A publication called Adweek.
Man, we use that in our sentences.
Oh yeah. That's one of Crazy Mouse's favorite things, which like I said, I'm fine with it being verbal, but to actually write it out, boy, that's very, very unprofessional. To use that phrase, to write it out.
Now, yeah,
not
is
for,
weird. Yeah, to see it written is different. We
Not
just
for
say it. Not for nothing.
Yeah, that's very much a colloquial term. Boy, people do not proofread anymore. But I digress. But it also directly led to her job at the tabletop gaming giant WotC, which acquired the D&D brand in 97 from TSR, the publisher established by the game's creators, Gary and Don Kay.
They actually gave a little bit of credit?
It's weird. You don't see Don Kay getting too much credit. For those of you that don't know, Don was Gary's boyhood friend, and I think he's the one that kind of came to Gary and said, hey, look, he played in one of the original games brought from Dave Arneson. I do believe. He was there, we talked to Rob Kuntz. So I think he was in that game with Rob Kuntz, Don Kay was. I think he told Gary, like, hey, we should form a company and do this. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's something Gary would have done already. But I don't know if I'd call him a creator because he died in 1975. He died like at the age of 36 from a heart attack.
Chris Miller says that they don't have anybody in the company that actually plays D&D.
No, they don't. I don't think so. Well, I think what we would see is D&D. They play something. It's just odd that they usually, when they talk about the game's creators, it's commonly established Gary and Dave. But we'll give them a pass because it's ad week. Maybe they just did a
not for nothing. We'll let it slide.
Yeah, not for nothing. We'll let it go. Probably just looked at I'm going to guess the Wikipedia and didn't realize Dave Arneson's contribution. After moving to Seattle to work at Publicis, Lanzillo became a regular at a gamer bar in the Capitol Hill neighborhood and matched magic decks with several Wizards employees. I'm sure Rogan is happy with that.
She's a Carter.
Rogan worked at a game store in the 90s, and he grew to loathe all the Carters.
Oh, the little bastards.
The unwashed masses.
Yes.
I guess the Wizards employees recruited her for an open role on their team, joining as an R&D design manager for that collectible card game. She steadily moved up.
Who did she date to get in their inner circle?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, I'm not going to put that past someone like her. This past February, she traded her Magic cards. See how they're kind of it's like they threw in the D&D at the beginning, oh yeah, I was a big D&D player. And then it's it all talks about Magic. She came into the company and they assigned her to Magic.
Right.
So obviously when they came in, they said, what's your experience? She didn't say it's D&D. She said it's fucking Magic. She's a fucking Carter. And who probably did a couple sessions of D&D or, role-playing games. And oh yeah, I played that a couple times. Good enough for us.
Do we have to kill the owlbear?
Yeah.
Kobanizer is asking, did they mean gay bar or gamer?
Gamer, G-A-Y-M-E-R. Yeah. So she traded in her Magic cards for multi-sided dice and stepped into her current VP role, overseeing the sprawling D&D franchise. Ooh, sprawling.
Kobanizer also says it worked for Kamala.
Yeah. Trading in your oral skills for a
This goes through a little mouse dropping in there.
Thank you, sir.
It might not pop up.
It does. We just can't see it.
Oh, okay.
It does. We can't see it, but I assure you it does. Disco Barbarian, they quote unquote role play getting chicken nuggets and prom time. Yeah. Probably my friend. Thank you so much, Disco. In a lively interview. So here I am. I get to live the dream, and I'm excited to be here at such a critical time for D&D. I'm wondering if Kyle did leave. I wonder if Kyle sensed this is the Titanic. I've heard rumblings from people have told me, so this is second or third hand. I know somebody who works at D&D and they say it's a shit show. They say it's that morale is just awful and they don't have any confidence in this new edition.
Man, if we had that person working there, you'd have firsthand knowledge.
If you're out there listening and just and afraid, there's an email on here someplace. Email Double D.
Yeah.
It's all in confidence.
Yes,
we won't give out your name yet.
Yeah. Shark says Kamala has more than the oral abilities. Yeah, I got to tell you, as a man we'll just say past 40. I've found myself looking at Kamala a couple of times, but I've slapped my hand and said no. AOC, that's a different animal. Them socialist titties are alluring. In a lively interview, Lanzillo previews...
Nixon's leaving. Have a good night,
see you,
Nixon.
Nixon.
Have a good one, Nixon.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Reveals how to brand balance multiple generations of fans. Shares how D&D is collaborating with Stranger Things. So here's a snippet of the interview. Ad week. We'll get to the mutually beneficial relationship between D&D and Stranger Things in a bit, but first off, I have to note how incredibly appropriate it is for the game's new VP to also be a D&D obsessive from Indiana. See, I didn't get that from her background. Did you? Maybe a Magic obsessive.
Right. Yeah. They did the D&D splash, but when you get in a little bit of detail, it's Carter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She kind of astroturf that. Very much so. I love D&D, and I also come from a very punk rock. Oh, good Lord.
Oh.
No, you don't. If you,
I already hate her.
If you
she doesn't know what punk rock
I was going to
is.
say, if you brag in an interview, you come from a very punk rock background. Oh, I am Eddie Munson. Fuck you, sugar tits.
God.
You know, to paraphrase Lloyd Benson, you know, I knew Eddie Munson. Eddie Munson was a friend of mine. You're no Eddie Munson. Give me a fucking break.
God.
Snake oil.
Ooh,
5.
snake oil,
Yep,
Sean.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snake
Picking
Oil.
up the back 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Snake Oil Sean. It's like getting renewed for a sitcom. We're picking up the back end of your sitcom.
Yeah.
He gave us 5 and then 5 more. Amigo, thank you so much. Yeah, I am Eddie Munson. Oh my God, could this chick be any more disingenuous? I am Eddie Munson. For those of you that don't know, Eddie Munson was a character in, I think, the last season of Stranger Things.
He was a good character.
Yeah, from what I saw, I didn't watch last season, but Mrs. D would watch it. She's like, "Oh, come up, you know, they're playing D&D or whatever." So I'd watch, and I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, maybe I didn't. It's an exaggeration of a character a little bit, but I'm like, yeah, I could see people being like
Did that show come to a conclusion, or is there
No, there's
still more?
another
I think
season.
one more season.
Yeah.
So I am Eddie Munson.
Very punk rock background. Oh my God.
Those are the two things I always cared about growing up. Oh my God. They have the same thing in common, right? They're both about asking, how can we make cool stuff with our friends? All right, so this goes back to thank you very much there, Patrick Demo. Dear God, Kyle's been replaced by a pick-me. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. Well said.
And you know what? This kind of goes along with something that Matt D was talking about earlier that I've said a lot of times. If you were Eddie Munson back then, that wasn't your path to popularity.
No.
You got fucking... All right, so first of all, your women choices were drastically reduced. Everybody kind of looked at you. Normies kind of like didn't want to be anywhere near you. The popular kids probably didn't want to be anywhere near you either, and they may have even made a little fun of you.
Wedgies.
Yeah. Mercurius, $5. Australian. Nothing says punk, like being part of a corporate, Fortune 500 corporation. Right. Exactly. God. Yeah, so D&D in the 80s was not your path to popularity. Anybody who was around back then knows this. It's kind of why I kind of grew out of it and stopped playing from like 86 to about 91. Got back into it again.
Me and my cousin couldn't find anyone that would play.
Yeah, it's tough. You get older, it was tough.
No one would play.
Yep. Doc says $5, saying you have a punk rock background is perhaps the least punk thing that can be said. Yes. Thank you, Doc. Yeah. That is so cringy. It beggars belief.
Yeah, punk rock lives it. They don't brag it.
Well, plus any punker from like the 80s, I got news for you. They're not liberals anymore. I mean, take a look at like like Sid Vicious and all that. Like they see who the establishment really is. The establishment is people like her. Yep. Johnny Rotten, Chris Miller, $2. Yes. Johnny Rotten was the punk, and he hates the woke life. Yeah, maybe that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, it's Johnny Rotten. Yeah, Sid Vicious is dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sid is dead. See, I was not punk.
Strong feelings too.
Yeah, I was not punk, so yeah. I would never lay claim to that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen Johnny Rotten now. Yeah, he is one of the most conservative dudes, and he's just has had enough of all the cultural bullshit that's going on. Anybody who was rebelling against the culture back then has that spirit in them, and it just kind of shows you how far things have almost flipped on their head. Who was the man back then is not the man anymore.
What if in the office, like they just saw this girl as a rising star or whatever, and Kyle Brink was like, "You got to be kidding me, this girl," you know, like, yeah. And that could have led to his demise.
And he came in one day and his office was put in another location by the door.
Yeah.
Out in the parking lot. You don't work inside anymore. You still work here, but just outside.
Follow that extension cord out that door, and there's a large umbrella out there with a chair.
You're not the assistant regional manager. You're the assistant to the regional manager. Mercurius again. Thank you so much. $2 Australian. Double D got a Ouija board. Yes. But it's like, holy shit. It's kind of cringy, but I think we'll see where her roots are in a moment here. I'm gonna get to that. Something that people aren't talking. It's something my spin on it, where I think her head is. And honestly, I mean, she could be worse than Kyle Brink. It wouldn't surprise me. You're stepping back into D&D at an auspicious time, given the 50th anniversary. Is that part of your reason for accepting the new role? Yeah.
Huh?
Absolutely. I just gone through the 30th anniversary of Magic. See, this chick's a Carter.
I hate her to her core.
Snake Oil Sean said they moved him to the annex.
Yes.
Did you know that in the TV show The Office, if you, the workers that worked in the annex in the office were actually all the writers?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where they actually did writing for the show while they were actually on the show. It was like what Kelly and BJ, Mindy Kaling, BJ Novak, and Toby, whatever his name is. But those were all the writers.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so she's saying it's influenced the culture around it. You can see it reflected in the book we published this year, that horrible book. I would highly urge you not to buy that book and give $100 to these fruitcakes.
I just saved myself $150.
That's right. So about the making, there's still all this correspondence between folks who are co-creating something together, and they're just riffing on a concept. You can see I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Yeah, she doesn't know what to talk about. She's pulled that false valor shit about punk rock, and I just like.
Yeah, that does kind of stick in the
valor
crowd.
type thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I hate her.
So they're talking about here. They ask, when the brand hits the big 5-0, it typically finds itself between generations of fans. How do you balance nostalgia with the need to keep the game fresh? Well, it's easy. You just eject all the old fans and then just go whole hog for the new ones. That is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Kill it, create an effigy, and then burn it.
Yeah, exactly. They
the edgelord hits you up.
Oh, thank you. Quincy edgelord $2. Quincy punk rock episode is 80s TV gold. Yeah,
that's interesting.
I love Quincy.
Was that Jack Klugman?
Yeah. And the generation before it was Dragnet, because when Dragnet was around, they were going through the
hipsters.
Yeah, like the hippies, the drug culture, and me and Gavin Morgan, we'd always quote this one episode on Dragnet where they had some guy. He's like, I just want to float, man. I just want to float. Yeah, but Quincy was that was actually a pretty good show.
I liked it.
For its time. I'll have to look up that episode, edgelord. Thank you. Yeah, Jack Klugman. Share play. I don't know what this chick is saying. Oh, wait. She mentions Critical Role here. Yeah. So a player like myself who's been playing for 30 plus, how old is this chick? She must be at least 40, right? 30 plus years can have a conversation with a player who got into it through Stranger Things or Critical Role. We have a foundational language that breaks down generational barriers. Ugh. Pimpin' D&D Beyond. They're VTT. Oh, here we go. Gatekeeping and toxicity are known problems in other fandoms, but D&D seems to have sidestepped those kinds of issues. Are you sure? Are you positive? Now she's going to go along with this. Now look, it's not for lack of trying. It was just we tried too late. I think that's because the entire foundational premise of the game is that you have to collaborate. And if you're not doing that at a certain point, you'll be uninvited from the table. All right, a lot of nonsense here. Talking about AI. D&D seems like a fairly AI-proof game, but are you looking at integrating it in any capacity? What makes it unique, she says, is the thousands of odd decisions and experiences that a person has when they play the game. That can't be summed up in a prompt. I agree. AI is always changing, but we're staying pretty manual and humanized in our creation process right now. Emphasis on right now. We'll see where things are 10 years down the road, if they even have it by then. Then just talking about the tie-ins, making D&D a lifestyle brand. So they did a Lego set this year. They've done Destiny and Dead by Daylight activations. Yep, this is the stuff that's just cheapening the game. Oh, there's Eddie Munson. Yeah, she was a real Eddie Munson. Let me tell you something about Eddie Munson. You know what Eddie Munson, we would have called Eddie Munson back in high school? He's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Oh, you're hanging around with those dirtbags? Like D&D would have been like secondary. Like, oh, he's a dirtbag. Yeah, unless you're part of like the dirtbags, like you don't, like your paths didn't really cross. Like they did their thing. Normies did their thing.
They were down the back hall by the one back door, smoking their cigarettes, taking 3 lunches. You know, and skipping the last period of class.
So, according to that description that we just did, Kelly Leak would have been like playing D&D, and I don't see that happening.
Well, yeah, but
Kelly Leak would have.
Yeah, and look, Kelly Leak might have been like me. Maybe he was a Renaissance man.
I don't know. Kelly Leak was into Amanda.
I was, then again, I wasn't. I like hung around dirtbags, but I could never. I think the closest I ever got was a jean jacket.
That's all I hung out with.
I was going to say that's all you got.
I knew Eddie Munson. You know, this girl doesn't know Eddie Munson.
Yeah, no fucking chance. Yeah, I had good relations with the Wookiees, as they say. I tried to get along with everybody. I'm just a teenage dirtbag
I know that
baby.
reference. There you go. Wheatus was the group that sang that.
Yep. Coming from an advertising background, are you looking for ways to integrate brands into gameplay? Oh boy, we've done it before with the Rick and Morty set.
But no one bought it.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody's talking about the Rick and Morty set, aren't we? Oh my God, talk about something so fucking cringy. Rick and Morty. Yeah, it's the whole lifestyle brand thing. Critical Role. Well, guess what? Critical Role is they're getting ready to dump you. Critical Role is your girlfriend who is getting like dolled up in the mirror, like putting on her like fishnets, like pumping up her boobies and being like, yeah, I'm gonna go out with my friends tonight. You just stay home. Yep. Yeah, we'll do something on the weekend. But I'm just gonna go out by myself tonight or with my friends. You wouldn't, Chris Miller, you never know. You never seen Kolchak the Night Star. I love Kolchak.
Oh man, I remember the first episode I watched.
Scared the
Impact. Yeah, scared the shit out of me.
I always remember, like after the fact, I always remember like the zombie where you had to sew the zombie's mouth up. The Ripper was probably the scariest, and the vamp. There was like the 2 movies they did. But as a kid, the one I remember is probably the one that doesn't hold up very good over time, and that's the one with the lizard guy underground. Remember
that was awesome.
The long tunnel?
Yes.
Those tunnels were burned into my mind as a kid, so I remember watching those live when I was like 5-6 years old. Patrick Demo, $5. Thank you so much. As someone who had a terrible high school career because of the hobby, I now loathe this woman. I earned my stripes. She appropriates it. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're right.
100%. And you're a better guy than me, Patrick, because I disavowed the cock crowed 3 times, once I entered junior high, and I'm like, I don't do that stuff. Well, man, I play baseball, I do this, but it's like, I just didn't want to deal with it. I just didn't freaking want to deal with it. It was called being in the gaming closet back then. Like if you knew somebody who played, and you wanted to talk about it, you had to make sure you weren't around anybody.
Right.
Anybody who might hear, what are you guys talking about? You play D&D? What kind of a bag are you? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. You kiss goodbye any chance of getting laid in high school if that happened. We were terrified.
Any of the D&D kids were in the AV club.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the ones that were open nerds, I don't even want to say they got picked on. It was just like, oh yeah, they were just kind of like the poor lepers, like, oh, those are the poor lepers, They
and that
leave
all
them
in
alone.
that one table over there in the lunchroom.
Yep. I will say, yeah, if you were down that low, you generally, and at least where I was, and I was in a pretty average American high school, you didn't really get picked on that much. It was the norm. If you were a normie and you got outed.
Travis has some input on that.
I played basketball and openly played. The basketball players made fun of made fun of me, but most of the football team played at my table. There you go. You were
That's
lucky,
cool.
Travis. Yeah,
Very lucky.
And the thing is, you never knew because everybody was probably in the same sort of social fear about it. So yeah, people could have been doing it on the down low, and like, when you got to college or something, it kind of loosened up. I didn't live on campus at college, so I didn't, like reconnect then. It was right towards the end of college, like my last year. I met some people that my wife worked with, and they're like, "Hey, do you ever play D&D?" And at that point, I'm like, I'm 21 years old now. Who gives a fuck? Yes, I did. They're like, "Hey, can you DM?" And I'm like, "Yep." And that was 1991, and I've been DMing pretty regularly ever since. So long time. She talks about the Rick and Morty set. And they talk about the movie.
Which bombed.
Yeah. Yeah, so she says, just kind of gives the general, like, we'll look at stuff. And talking about spoilers for Stranger Things.
More Vecna crap.
Yeah. All right, so enough of that.
What's her name again?
Her name?
Jill Lozana.
Jess Lanzillo.
Yeah.
Jess Lasagna.
Jess Lasagna.
Lasagna.
All right, so here's what I noticed. I'm like, oh, all right, well, what kind of a person is this going to be? All right, so we know she's a poser, a fucking phony. I was. Just remember that quote. I was Eddie Munson, and I'm so punk rock. That's all you need to know. But I noticed a little thing here, too. Evergreen State College. Boy, that really, that rang a bell with me.
Is that like Faber High?
Yeah, this is a little bit more, probably in the last 6 or 7 years. Evergreen State College became famous or infamous for a short time because of this man. That is Brett Weinstein. Brett Weinstein was a professor at Evergreen State College. Now for this, I'll go to a quick summation of what happened at Evergreen State College. This is where the new person overseeing D&D, the EVP, if you will, earned her stripes. These were her formative years in college. Evergreen State College has settled a lawsuit brought against it by the professor who was at the center of protests that rocked the campus in May. This was 2017, I believe. Not that long ago. As part of the settlement, Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather Haying, resigned from their faculty positions effective Friday. Students were protesting racism on campus. Now, keep in mind, this is before Black Lives Matter, as a huge thing, before George Floyd and all that shit. Students were protesting racism on campus, although Brett Weinstein, the professor who they called to be fired, filed his $3.8 million suit on the grounds of hostility based on race, alleging that the college permitted, cultivated, and perpetuated a racially hostile and retaliatory work environment through a series of decisions made at the highest levels, including to officially support a day of racial segregation. The college has refused to protect its employees from repeated provocative and corrosive verbal and written hostility based on race, as well as threats of physical violence. And I got news for you, if you haven't figured out already. The race they were being hostile towards was not black. It was the opposite of black. Weinstein drew ire from students when he pushed back against a call to change the tradition of minority students and faculty holding their annual day of absence, based on ideas in the 1965 play of the same name by Douglas Turner Ward. Those participating meet off campus to discuss campus issues and how to make the college more supportive of all students.
Because that's what you do when your mom and dad are paying for you to go to college.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. At the same time, they hope their lack of presence is felt. It's probably felt. Dare I say enjoyed, perhaps? Who knows? Similar ideas were the inspiration behind events like the Day Without Immigrants protests, where immigrants closed shop to protest anti-immigrant political rhetoric, while at the same time highlighting how much everyday society depends on them and their labor. Well, I would submit that that probably had more of an impact than a day without black college students, black liberal college students. I think we could probably survive a little bit more without the latter. The wrinkle to last year's day of absence, however, was that white people were called to voluntarily stay off campus. Weinstein, who is white, objected. There's a huge difference between a group or a coalition deciding to voluntarily absent themselves from a shared space in order to highlight their vital and underappreciated roles, the theme of the Douglas Turner Ward play, Day of Absence, as well as the recent Women's Day walkout, and a group encouraging another group to go away, Weinstein wrote on a campus email list. The first is a forceful call to consciousness, which is, of course, crippling to the logic of oppression. The second, he's talking about forcing white people to also stay away from campus, is a show of force and an act of oppression in and of itself. Weinstein also drew criticism for coming out against a recommendation on faculty hiring by the college's Equity and Inclusion Council that would require an equity justification / explanation for all faculty hires. These people are poison. If you hire them in your company and you don't have the guts to stand up to them, they will corrode it and ruin it. I'm starting to see signs of it at my company, which is a Fortune 500 company. Thank God I will be retiring within the next couple of years. As part of the settlement, Evergreen did not admit wrongdoing. The Times reported, citing an email officials sent to faculty and staff members on the matter. All right. Go back to... So, it really is a case of meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Probably worse in some regards. I think she is not only a DEI person, I think she's like a phony baloney, as we saw. I don't see any reason, and why would you at this point?
Well, she's already proven to be a liar. Honestly, hey, you know, you got a job. Don't lie about coming into your job. Don't pump up what you're not. Just say, hey, I'm gonna go in there and do the best fucking job I can do. But no, I'm Eddie Munson, and I'm an avid gamer after being a Carter for fucking ever.
Yeah. Ooh, Walter E. Williams. Yep. Loved Walter E. Williams when he would fill in for Rush. Yeah, so we know she's a poser when it comes to gaming. She went to college and probably got a bunch of garbage jammed in her head that she needed to be ashamed of being white. And that's where we're at now. And if you don't push back against this, we're getting to the point now you got to start doing something, because even if you can accept it, what kind of a world do you want for your kids? It's bullshit. If you got kids, or you may have grandkids coming, no, fuck that. Fuck these people. No fucking way. Yeah, they love ignoring the existence of Thomas Sowell. Yeah, you ever want to see how racist people on the left can be? Just bring up a black conservative like Thomas Sowell or Walter E. Williams. You will see their true colors, and you will realize, like, no, things didn't magically switch at some point where Republicans became Democrats and vice versa, because, my God, how could Democrats own slaves? They just, quote unquote, love black people. No, they treat black people like purse puppies. DEI. Didn't earn it. Yep. So I'm sure there were, although I guess I can't say that. I was going to say, I'm sure there were probably people who were better qualified for the role of EVP of D&D there. I don't know if I can say that anymore after they got rid of everybody. She may be as qualified as anybody. So of course they're always going to defer to a woman, especially one who has the right politics, the trendy politics. Jeff from Denkar, $2. False morality is the DEI crowd's bread and butter. Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff from Denkar, and Thraxis, $10. Thank you very much, sir. Evergreen was the school the Hollywood bank robber was at in the 70s. He was making meth in the Camelot. Oh, is that the one... Is that Hollywood? Is that where the shootout Thraxus? Remember the two guys in body armor in the 90s? Is that what we're talking about?
That movie was called Heat.
Do you remember what I'm talking about, right? The two guys who were like armored up. And
yeah.
The cops are just shooting them it was like the mid 90s.
They had
like,
to run to a gun store to get weapons.
Get like armor piercing ammo.
Do you know what was crazy about that shootout? Didn't no cops die?
I want to say you're right. I think maybe some of them got shot.
Some people got shot, but no one died. And those guys, that either they were reenacting that movie Heat with Al Pacino, or Al Pacino reenacted that scene. They're connected.
Depending on which came first. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They're connected.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, God, I remember that. I was at the accounting firm. They're like, can you see what's going on in Hollywood? There's like, it's watching bullets fly off these guys. I'm like, holy shit. Then I just started thinking, like, that's what every bank robber is going to do.
It reminded me of that cartoon character Juggernaut. Like, that guy was like built.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they both died, so it's like the
It took a lot of fucking bullets.
It did, yeah. They had. I remember one. It was like he was trying to get into a car or something, if I'm what I remember. It was like kind of like a low speed like car thing, and I think finally some cop just got a lucky shot like in his eye or something, and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Nothing's really changed. It is interesting that Kyle Brink either got shit canned, or maybe if he did go, maybe he sensed something like, hey, this is a disaster. I don't want anything to do with this. Hard to say.
But maybe he did, and maybe he's paying for it, but ultimately he needed to pay for it anyhow. You don't shake the devil's hand and say you're kidding.
Think about it from a different point of view. Like, I know he's high up, but he's not the highest up, right? So maybe that interview where he did do was like, white guys like me can't leave fast enough. That obviously pissed people off in his own company.
Sure.
Right.
For sure.
So you just literally, made fun of our bread and butter customers, kind of like how Bud Light did that with with
Dylan
Mulvaney.
Yeah.
So if he did get let go, they're like, Kyle, you asked for this. This is exactly what you wanted.
Yeah,
We're just sped it up. It's like a gypsy curse. Be careful what you wish for.
Oh, for sure. And he, remember too, he kind of oversaw the whole OGL fiasco when they were gonna pull the OGL from independent creators.
Right.
That was on his watch too. So he done fucked up pretty good. What I wanted to, and I should have paid more attention to that Teos video, that Sean Merwin and Teos Abadia Mastering Dungeons. Great. If you're having trouble falling asleep, oh my God, that is a great YouTube channel, because they will put you to sleep. They are the most boring two people I have ever seen. But I was just remarking the absolute gutless cowardice of people like Teos and Sean Merwin and all these other mainstream YouTubers, Bob the World Builder, of course, Ginny D, all you people who were too gutless to even acknowledge what Kyle Brink said about white guys not being able to leave fast enough, or just astroturfing for it and saying like, oh, he didn't mean it, like literally an offhanded remark, like, bullshit.
He was emphatic when he said that.
Yes, he absolutely was.
He was all in.
Yep. So fuck them. And by the way, I did just want to say, speaking of other YouTubers, I want to wish Professor Dungeon Master all the best. He came out with a video, I think about a week ago, saying that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
I saw that.
Yeah. So he, I guess the treatment, he's getting some radiation for it, and
make a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like things were
Hopefully
things were
caught it
going well.
fast
Yeah,
enough and stuff.
I think that's what he was kind of intimating.
Travis just literally typed the same thing.
Oh, really? Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike. Yeah, I had a note here. Yeah, I have no problem with Professor DM. We got a joke about his cadence, being kind of like Andy Rooney.
But it's not negative.
Yeah, but it's not. I generally like him.
Yeah.
he's got some pretty good content. He's a very good YouTuber. And he seems like a decent guy. I guess he is a little bit more our age, so we probably would be a little bit more drawn to him. If you're, he's probably not. He probably doesn't even know who I am, but if he does, we wish you all the best and a speedy recovery. All right, so I had a couple other things here. All right. Oh, thank you there, Crazy Mouse. All right. So, this is from EN World, but I got wind of this actually on Twitter or X. Ben Riggs on Gary Gygax and sexism. They said he just cannot let this guy go. So Ben Riggs is some sort of D&D historian, press X to doubt on that, author of Slaying the Dragon, delved into the facts. Internet's been rending its clothes and gnashing its teeth over the introduction to an instant classic of TTRPG, the making of the original D&D 1970 to 1977. So he's already like shilling for that 50th anniversary book. So already I can say, fuck you, Ben Riggs. Sack of crap. Why then has the response been outrage from various corners of the internet? Authors John Peterson and Jason Tondreau, both work for Wizards of the Coast, mentioned that early D&D made light of slavery, disparaged women, and gave Hindu deities hit points. They gave every deity hit points. Why are you just picking out Hindus?
This guy's repeating what somebody else wrote, in different words.
Yep. The disingenuousness of it all. They also repeated Wizards' disclaimer for legacy content, which states, these depictions were wrong then and are wrong today. This content is presented as it was originally created. To do otherwise would be the same as claiming they never existed. So read it, but read it with shame. So he is taking shots at anybody who dared raise their voice against it, including Rob Kuntz, our friend. Boy, this guy thinks he's a historian. Rob Kuntz is history. And this guy dares to put Rob's name in his mouth. In response to this, an army of grognards swarmed social media to bite their shields and bellow. So I guess Rob Kuntz is just a grognard, Ben. You fucking retard. Fuck you. Early D&D author Rob Kuntz described Peterson and Tondreau's work as slanderous. It is. On his Castle Old Skull blog, Kent David Kelly called it disparagement. It is. These critics are accusing Peterson and Tondreau of dishonesty, lying not to put too fine a point on it. So are they lying? Are they making stuff up about Gary Gygax and early D&D? Well, let's look at an example of what Peterson and Tondreau described as his misogyny. 1975's Greyhawk. So he's going to go on here to say, oh boy, look, the male dragon is good. I guess that's the platinum Bahamut. The chromatic dragon, queen of chaotic dragons, is bad. That's Tiamat. Or what would become Tiamat, I guess. See, men good, woman bad. That proves he's a sexist. What about Disney? Sleeping Beauty. Wasn't Maleficent, didn't she turn herself into a dragon?
Yeah. Yes.
What about Disney?
Some of their best villains, most of their best villains were women.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Pick one.
Yep.
Sleeping Beauty. Snow White. Are these people going to damn them?
It gets so hard to keep fighting this, especially when other people are just like, who cares? It's like, can't you fucking see these people get their way? Like, you will be a second-class citizen.
Oh my
Is there a
God.
picture of this person? Because everyone's saying it looks like Pat from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, really? Well, I'll look for it in a moment here. I don't know if they have one here, but it's Pat. Ben looks like Ben likes punk also. He is me. He is me.
Everyone wants to see this Ben Riggs, man. Our chat's blowing up for Ben Riggs.
All right. Hold on one second here. Let me go off a little bit. I'll see if I can find something real quick here. All right, we Ben Riggs D and D. Oh, I see him. Yep. All right.
That's a smarmy fucker.
There you go.
Oh, his face has slapped me.
It's Pat. All right. Yeah, so he's just a garden variety leftist who's just essentially doing unpaid PR for Wizards of the Coast. Fuck you, Ben.
So he's simping for Wizards of the Coast.
Yep. So here's something Gary threw in. I guess this was in the text itself comments on the fact that lawful dragon is male and the chaotic one is female. Gygax and Kuntz wrote, "Women's lib may make whatever they wish from the foregoing." It's tongue-in-cheek, for God's sakes. Look, here's the thing. It was Gary a little misogynistic? Yeah, that just made him a little prescient. Because if you're not a little bit these days, you don't have your eyes open. But good Lord, that's tongue-in-cheek, a little wink. Jordan Peterson got rich by talking about law and, the chaotic mind, which is the female mind. I got news for you. He didn't just say, you know what? I think I'm going to write today that the female mind is chaotic. Maybe they've actually done some studies on it. If you've been married for 30 years, guys, you understand the female mind is a little chaotic, but it's like, who fucking cares, too? It's like these fucking virgins who think normal women are going to be hurt by this. The intent is clear. The female is a realm of chaos and evil. And so, of course, they made their chaotic evil dragon a queen. Well, I got to take a little bit of umbrage with that. It's just chaotic. I don't see evil there, do you? Queen of the chaotic dragons, king of lawful dragons.
Well, let's take a peek at the history of myth. Throughout different cultures, the horrible goddess or whatever it is, the villain, the evil is often female. And that's just not in Christian religions, but that's these, far out all around the world. So this, this
probably
kind of
still
notion,
less than 50%.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Last I saw, women are roughly 50%, right?
Yeah.
So they're being underrepresented in villain roles.
Right. I mean, when are they going to have a female predator in the movies?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So then he has to go out, when Gary's talking to Europa magazine. And Gary says this is like for a magazine outside the U.S. I've been accused of being a nasty old sexist male chauvinist pig. So he was probably getting this back in the 70s, and he probably arrived much earlier. Our problem nowadays is we're far too nice with these people. We've indulged them too long instead of telling them to go F themselves like we should have done a long time ago. I guess back in the mid-70s, when you're as sharp as Gary G, you just say, F you. I'm not standing for that. Yeah, I've been accused of being a nasty old sexist chauvinist pig for the wording in D&D isn't what it should be. There should be more emphasis on the female role. God, it's so weird he was like dealing with this back then. More non-gender names and so forth. This is like 1975. I thought perhaps these folks were right and considered adding women in the raping and pillaging section in the whores and tavern wenches chapter. and the special magical part dealing with hags and crones, and thought of perhaps adding an index on medieval harems, slave girls, and going Viking. Damn right I'm sexist. Doesn't matter to me if women get paid as much as men, get jobs traditionally male, and shower in the men's locker room. They can jolly well stay away from wargaming in droves for all I care. I've seen many a good wargame and wargamer spoiled thanks to the fair sex. I'll detail that if anyone wishes. So that's him off the cuff. Chris Miller, $5. This entire interview with Gary was a tongue-in-cheek jab at the feminists who were publicly attacking him at the time. Context matters. Absolutely. I'm not even sure context matters. Like, he's probably just tired of it. Look, he was going through on the micro what pretty much all men are going through today on the macro. Whether it's false allegations of sexual assault, whether it's false allegations at work, everywhere. Mothers keeping their kids from men. It's just gotten worse over time. So he dealt with it the best way he knew how, with a little bit of humor. And he is saying, like, hey, if you want to be, what he's saying is, if you want to be in wargaming, you're more than welcome. Better damn well be one of the boys, though. Which usually wasn't a problem. So to summarize here, Gary wrote misogyny into the D&D rules. No, he didn't. I mean, that's from a magazine called Europa. So far, the writing misogyny in is him calling the Queen of Dragons chaotic.
Right.
Ben.
If they were really misogynistic, if Gary was in the rules of character creation, it would be just men. You couldn't select a woman at all, as your character. When they don't do that.
No. I mean, what about the fact that one of the most popular RPGs right now, independent RPGs, is Shadow Dark by Kelsey Dion. Good game. Kelsey seems like a good creator. Doesn't do much any politics as far as I can see.
You hear no problems.
Yeah, no problems at all. Who was her mentor? Her mentor was Gary Gygax. She met Gary Gygax when she was a young lady. Sorry, as I put my brand back up. He met her, when she was like a young lady. He encouraged her. Create your own stuff. Do things. Because he could see the people that were serious and the people who just wanted to cause trouble. Like the feminists back then, and quite frankly, the feminists now who have come into the house and are on the inside. So no, I think Gary was just fine with women. He just didn't want them bringing that feminine mindset. I've done videos on it. It's why you have X cards at the table. It's why we have dwarf bakers bringing each other, hotcakes, gay dwarf bakers, just silly stuff like that. Just to summarize here, Gary wrote misogyny into the rules. When this was raised with him as an issue at the time, his response was to offer to put rules on rape and sex slavery into D&D. That was a joke. Anybody can see he was just being outrageous. But he did put one pretty hilarious table in. In fact, I will stop this now. We've seen enough of Ben. Go F yourself, Ben, if you're out there.
A scene from American Pie.
Well, we may be getting to that. Here's a
oh yes,
here's the harlot table. This is from the original DM's guide. A slovenly troll, a brazen strumpet, a cheap trollop, a typical streetwalker, a saucy tart, a wanton wench, an expensive doxy, a haughty courtesan. Ooh, now we're getting into the good ones there, boys. An aged madam.
63.
63. You got a saucy tart?
I'll take 2 saucy tarts over a wealthy procurist.
A sly pimp and a rich panderer. Boy, so if you get 95, you actually get to be the pimp. I guess you get to pour the D&D version of Drano down your girls' throats if they hold out on you. An expensive doxy will resemble a gentlewoman, a haughty courtesan, a noblewoman, and other harlots might be mistaken for good wives and so forth. Even back then, I mean, Gary was probably writing this tongue-in-cheek, probably had a good laugh about it. I mean, good Lord. But, you know, people like Ben would probably blow a gasket over it. Ultra American TTRPG, or $2. Thank you so much, sir. Kyle leaves Wizards of the Coast. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, replaced by a worse witch.
Yeah, he's already done his damage. Yeah, I mean, I would argue the new gal ain't gonna be much better. But there's only so much. What can she do? The edition is already done, so maybe that's what Kyle was thinking too. Like, all right, what else am I gonna do now? You know, this thing is mostly complete. Maybe he just got out while the going was good if they didn't fire him.
Where's he going to get a job at?
That's a good point. I did want to say real quick, matched up to BLG Shucked Oyster Tables, LOL. Yes, I am going to be on with the BLG boys tomorrow, guys. I think it's like 9:30 Eastern. Just double check their channel. Looking forward to it. They want to learn a little bit more about Birthright. Always enjoy talking to those guys. And then I think we're going to do a home and home. You know what that means, Crazy Mouse? I think you do.
I know what it means. It's going to be lost on 99% of our viewers.
Probably 90. Yeah, I'm actually going to have, I think it's still on. I'm going to have them on next week to talk about the Shucked Oyster. Yeah, so we'll do a home and home. I'm going to give them a little Birthright knowledge, and then they will be able to shill a little bit. They were kind enough to give me a production copy of the Shucked Oyster, which is being done to bring it full circle for the Shadow Dark system. It is a very good product. I kind of knew it would be. Look, these are successful guys. I like talking to them. Their channel is blown up. When I interviewed them back in January, I'm like, I want to get you guys at least one time before you pass me. And boy, they are zoom past. They're getting close to like 9,000 subs now. They make great content. And I really enjoy listening to them.
Jeff from Dencar says yes at 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. Yep. So 9:30 Eastern time. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. So it'll be a pleasure to talk to those guys. And then the next week we'll talk Shucked Oyster. All I can say, guys, you know, just kind of put yourself around successful people as much as you can. And I was honored. They asked me to be on their show, and I was glad that they allowed me to look at their thing, their piece. And I've read through it over the last couple of days, and it's really cool. It is something that you'll be able to use regardless of system, but Shadow Dark is pretty darn good anyway. So, yeah, that'll be fun. So, yeah. Yeah, Birthright, says Cal. Good to see you here, Cal. Thank you so much, brother. Remember, guys, if you wish, go ahead and hit the like button. That would be very much appreciated.
And if you're not a subscriber, please do that. It's free.
Yes. Thank you. I rarely say that.
Only takes a click.
Yep.
Yeah, take a click. It's free. Yep.
It's free.
And participate, and you could eventually be in the inner circle.
That's right. As Mr. Ollie Khan said to Crazy Mouse, it is for free.
I thought you were going to mow my lawn for free.
He had a neighbor who was trying to big league him.
I used to mow the neighbors' lawns, a whole bunch of them. So I did this family up the street from me named the Ollie Khans. And
were they Indian?
They were. Mm-hmm. And then when he came back, you know, I said, "Oh, Mr. Ollie Khan, while you were gone, I mowed twice. So it was $7 a piece." $7. I thought it was going to be for free.
No, sir. But they must. I don't want to. I'm not going to stereotype but I remember back at Pizza Hut in the 80s, like there was this one Indian doctor who always like ordered delivery from us, and man, that dude never tipped. Like never tipped. It was getting that like outrageous. We're like, oh, who's going to take this one? Take the $3. Truex says Ben Riggs, $5. Thank you, Truex. Ben Riggs said the golden age of TTRPGs is over because people are leaving 5e. This guy's opinions are invalid. Yes, invalid and stupid. I would submit to you.
Agreed.
Truex. Yeah. But you know what? What I don't like is those are the opinions that like EN World highlights. Now, I tell you what. Hold on a moment. Boys, you talk for a moment, huh?
I can't think right now. I can't get Saucy Tart out of my mind.
That's what I rolled.
I want two.
63.
I want two. One for each hand.
It's
bring on the tarts.
I got to show this, because it did. Oh man, it really did piss me off. Okay, so we'll take that off for a moment here. All right, so I wrote this on Twitter. And it was right to Mr. Ben Riggs, because he highlighted, this is the whole thread. All's EN World, by the way, the sparkling journalists at EN World, all they did was do what we YouTubers do. They just copied his Twitter thread. All right, so that's what Gary Gygax wrote in 1975. Getting a little tired of having the feminists just be on his jock the whole time. Well, let's see where D&D is, where modern D&D is right now. Oh, Chris Berry, white men. I mean, really, where to begin? That's one of the top 3 guys at D&D.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is white.
Oh, yes, very white.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. On this week's episode of Dumb White Men, a day. Thanks, Chris. So this is current day D&D. Of course, this is all fine. This is all fine because when we talk about dumb white men, we just go, what's the big deal? Fuck you, no. Oh, here's the star pupil, Mackenzie DeArmas. Mother of the retarded paladin, Asterios, or whatever the fuck her name was. I'm sorry, but holy shit, are proud white male novelists the fucking worst? A thread. Another Mackenzie gem. My ultimate goal in life is to live like I have the energy of a brazen and eccentric, lanky, young, adult Caucasian man, whom the entire internet is convinced is actually a demon or otherwise immortal being.
She has a problem with anime, doesn't she? Because she's describing every anime character. It's not a white thing, lady, you're fucked up with. All right?
It's... Now, look, I had a lot to choose from there. I did have a lot to choose from. So those are just a couple because I had to pick 4, to kind of get... Are we saying anything about those? Who's doing the articles on those?
Right.
Oh, it's just channels like mine, because who cares? Who cares if they take shots at white people, right? I mean, it's not like you have white children. It's not like you may have white grandchildren someday. And people are just going to start... the game where they go around New York City, people just go around as like smashing white grandmas in the face or, white people.
Right.
That's just going to be fine, I guess.
That's the world that they help create.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to come out and say it's fucking stupid. Because it is. Do it as often as possible. Laugh at these people.
Saucy tart.
I'll take 3.
Guess what? They can't leave. They can't leave our... I don't even want to say our childhood. This movie was made before I was born, but there's a remake of A Fistful of Dollars in the works.
Oh, no.
The original film launched the spaghetti western genre and also launched Clint Eastwood's career. No!
Who's playing Clint Eastwood?
Hopefully...
Amy McAdams.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know yet. I guess it's in the early stages.
Who's that McKenna girl from Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Oddly enough, I was going through this yesterday. This kind of hit yesterday, and then on Turner Classic Movies, they ran all the Clint spaghetti westerns starting at like 8 o'clock.
If they were serious about this, who they should have play him? His son.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's a handsome
Kyle,
guy.
right?
He looks a lot like his
does,
father,
yeah.
but he has his own look. He's a good actor.
Yep.
If they're really serious about making
Scott.
Scott, that's
yeah,
Scott. Making a dedicated rehash of it. All right, that's the dude you want. Okay, not Chris Pine or Chris Evans or Chris Fauntleroy or whatever. You know, get they're great actors, blah blah blah. But let's that dude right there. I cast him. Fuck Hollywood there. He's already cast.
Kenan Thompson.
Kenan Thompson.
Who's that?
The
black guy in Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, why not?
Well, I can guarantee you one. I mean, because there was only essentially like one. Well, no, there was two women prominent in the movie.
Dylan Mulvaney says.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, there was the romantic interest of Ramon, the villain, who Clint kind of used as a bargaining chip to get more money. But then there was the innkeeper, Silvanito. I guarantee you they'll change Silvanito to be a woman. And one of the two factions in the town. Now remember, Fistful of Dollars is a remake of Yojimbo, a
Right.
Japanese movie. So the story isn't original. But it was the first Western to do it. So first off here, though, Disco Barbarian, $5. LOL launched Clint Eastwood's career. Because, all he did before that was some crappy show called Rawhide. Exactly. Yes. He was also in, if you remember, Rachel Zegler as the man with no name. Yep. He was also in Revenge of the Creature, which was his first movie. He had a bit role. It was a sequel to Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was just a scientist in a lab, and he had like one line of dialogue, and then they just went past him. I always remember because it was on the first episode of the 8th season of Mystery Science Theater. I think they said like, oh, that guy's gonna have no future. They passed the scene with Clint. But yeah, they will. Getting back to the remake, they'll have Silvanito, the innkeeper, his ally in town. His kind of like safe harbor. I bet they changed Silvanito to be a woman, and they'll have Mrs. Baxter, who's the matriarch of one of the two competing criminal factions in town. She was kind of a cold-blooded matriarch in the movie. They'll change her to be like a little bit more like a feminist. I would bet.
A trans in a wheelchair.
Trans in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Rachel Zegler just saying weird.
I forgot about that. Wonder where that stands now.
It's supposed to come out in 2025.
What movie is this?
The Snow White.
Snow White with the.
Oh.
So it went from 23 to 24 to 25.
They had to do a lot of damage control.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney is not immune. They're not immune to damage. Oh no, I'm sorry. They are immune to damage. Apparently,
their stock price isn't. That's for sure. That's crazy, us and I know. Yeah, Scott Eastwood isn't the lead. I'm not interested. Yeah, it's right out there. There's a win out there for you. People would probably be like, all right, I'll accept, a little bit of, if you want to throw a woman in there as the innkeeper or whatever. But if it has Scott Eastwood, damn, just like that. Never underestimate the power of Hollywood to fuck things up, though. Why would you trust any Hollywood studio these days? Look what they did with Mad Max. All they had to do, all George Miller had to do was just approach Mel Gibson. What do you want, Mel? What is it going to take to bring you back as Max? Probably would have asked a little bit of money, but holy shit, everybody would have watched that.
That's the movie I wanted to see.
Yes. How hard is it? Just cast Mel Gibson.
Yes.
I'm in. People like us, we're in.
It doesn't have to finish a story, but I want a little bit more.
But no. You don't understand, man. Furiosa is where it's at because people want to see, I was so sick of people telling me on Twitter, you don't understand, that movie was actually kind of good. It's like, I don't fucking care. I don't care how good it was. I have no interest in seeing a Mad Max movie without Mad Max, the original Mad Max. They did the bait and switch in 2015. Oh, it's a reboot of Mad Max. Well, he's a side character in his own movie, and they put fucking Furiosa in there. Oh, so now, however many years later, 8 years later, I'm supposed to, be creaming my old jeans here because now Furiosa gets a standalone movie. I don't care. I'm not interested. There's a lot of good movies I don't see every year. I just don't have the time or inclination, and I'm not going to go see a movie like that. And it is partially to punish them for being so stupid for not putting Mel Gibson in there because he probably would do it. There was a time he might not have, but you know what? He would do it. He would probably do it for the right price. Jeff Hatch, we can make our jokes, but it absolutely will be Idris Elba.
Who I like,
yeah,
but not.
Oh yeah.
not-
Idris Elba's a good brother. I mean, he's a
Right.
good actor. Yeah, I like Idris Elba, but guess he ain't James Bond. He ain't the man with no name. He isn't Manco.
Tom Hardy, that's his name, right? Who played me. I like him as an actor, and I could have invested more into him, replacing Mel Gibson in this past movie if it would have been about Mad Max.
Yeah,
like you said.
Yeah, if they'd allowed him to like stretch his wings a little
Yes.
bit. He was kind of like the female in need of rescue.
Yeah, the victim.
It's like how innocent and naive I was back then. I'm like, I walked out. Well, that was a little different. I guess it was okay, but deep down I'm like, man, I really wish I would have seen more Max. But little did we know.
That would have been so great if they would have got Mel. Hey, Mel, come on. Here's a chunk of money, and we'll buy you an island someplace. Let's fucking do this.
Yes. Yeah, give him like part of the back end or something.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. And then of course everybody blamed, people like us for not going to see Furiosa. Oh, it was due to sexism. Who run Bada Town?
That's one of my favorite quotes. That whole section between Master Blaster and I can't forget her name.
Anti-entity.
Yes, that little sequence is one of my very favorite quotes.
Embargo lifted. Even though, boy, at the time people thought that was the weak sister. What we wouldn't do to have a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome now. It would be treated as like, holy shit, manna from heaven. So sorry, George Miller, you effed it up. It was a real simple formula, and we'll see how these guys do.
In those movies, though, what were the sparkling gems that related to the other movies, the villains?
Yes.
Okay, well, but this is a Mad Max movie.
Yeah. Yep. Just such a missed opportunity, right?
Well, I think that we should redo Barbie.
Yeah, make it a Ken movie.
Well, yeah,
a complete Ken movie,
right? We should get like all the old school shoot 'em up actors, Stallone and all those guys all together, kind of an Expendables, but Ken has to go in and save Barbie because she's now a prostitute doing OnlyFans,
walking the streets.
Yeah. Him and his gang got to save her.
Fury flows you. Mad Maxi Pad. You get a couple of groans from us there. But I admire your moxie. Keep at it. Doc Flamingo, $5. If they were going to change Max, they should have had old Mel find and train a replacement in Dread Pirate Roberts fashion. Yeah, absolutely, Doc. Yeah.
I like that.
I think that's kind of what they tried to do. And, I know people didn't quite like it, but that's what they tried to do in the Indiana Jones movie, The Crystal Skull.
Right.
Remember they tried to... Shia LaBeouf was all set to be the new Indiana Jones. So it's like they had the right idea. They just kind of had the wrong movie, wrong actors, just didn't work.
Now, did anyone see the last Indiana Jones movie, just out of curiosity?
I didn't.
I heard there was a movie, but I don't know if anyone ever saw it.
Yeah, it was complete.
Didn't Shia LaBeouf rip out his own tooth for a movie?
Ooh, I don't know.
Something about
the tank movie.
There was he felt his character would have been missing a tooth, so he pulled one of his own out.
Oh, was that Fury?
I'm not sure.
He was in Fury, the tank movie. Huh.
That's what Rogan was saying. Maybe.
Huh. Let us know, chat, if anybody knows. He's an okay actor. My audio keeps cutting out.
I like that Larry Echo. Godzilla versus Ultraman.
Thank you, $2 Canadian. It might be when we're trying to talk over, if we talk over each other, we're on a mic, or we're on a virtual cable.
Are we on a party line?
Okay, I looked it up real quick.
Tic Tac says it was Fury.
Fury. He cut his face up, pulled out a tooth, and didn't bathe for the entire production.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's a really good movie, Fury. Like I said, Shia LaBeouf's a bit of a kook. He's just kind of a garden variety leftist outside of it. But as an actor, he's done some pretty good work.
I agree.
Yeah, but Fury is a great movie. I really liked Fury. they got a working Tiger tank in Fury. I mean, they got one of the world's last working Tiger tanks in Fury. All right. Crazy Mouse.
Hubba, Shannon Elizabeth.
Look at that.
Back in the day, she was a hottie.
Teenagers think.
She's still attractive? She's still pretty?
Well, let's ask the Googles.
Let you guys look that up. I am going to read this little article here. All right, so I think a lot of us here probably
I can imagine what this article's about.
Yeah. Gen Z teens label American Pie deeply problematic after watching it for the first time. Gen Z in this. Oh my God. Look at that. There's my gift to you guys for the night.
Yeah, still attractive.
Yep, she still is.
That doesn't surprise me. Look at that. That is just, you talk about manna from heaven.
You know who probably looks fantastic at this age right now? Jennifer.
It's bordering on incel attitudes. Teenagers have been sharing their thoughts on American Pie after watching it for the first time. The genre of 90s teen comedies is a much loved one. It's a reminder of simpler high school times before adult life kicked in. But on repeat viewing and through a modern day lens, there you go. That's the problem, the modern day lens. It's safe to say they probably wouldn't get made nowadays. And I disagree. I think if you had the balls to do it, and just were able to weather the storm, and every feminist group that came after you for making a film like that, you would just say, not for you, sorry.
The odd part is just from word of mouth, people would say like, this movie would maybe get panned in, on like Good Morning America or whatever.
Yeah.
But people have been like, did you see that movie? It's really funny.
Yeah, word of mouth would spread. Look, there's such an undercurrent. Trust me, like on places like X and that, it would go like wildfire. They'd be like, oh, this is a genuinely like funny comedy, like old school, like go see it. It would go like that if somebody had the guts to do it. But the problem is you'd almost have a hard time finding like established actors or actresses to do it because they'd be like, oh, I don't want to get blackballed. Like they did with John Milius for doing Red Dawn. If you make something that's not politically trendy in Hollywood, they will F your career. John Milius's career took a huge hit. The guy who made the masterpiece of, Conan the Barbarian.
His line in Jaws that he gave over the phone was absolutely epic. And George Shaw, who he cut that down.
Yep.
For that part, that scene in that movie while they're on the boat is brilliant.
Yeah, the USS Indianapolis
Yes.
story. Yeah, John Milius was just amazing, and we got deprived of so many good films of his, just because, quite frankly, he was blackballed. Hollywood is awful. I mean, they may make stuff you like, but don't even the characters who appeared in Red Dawn. And there were some future stars in there, obviously, like Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, all that, like. They obviously didn't have a problem, but like some of the other like lesser known actresses, like they would go to auditions or on their, interviews, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. You were in Red Dawn. Like, why were you in that? They have told stories of like Hollywood executives. Oh, why would you make that movie?
Wow. When actually Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey were in that one together before
Mm-hmm.
Dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of future stars in that movie. And, some of them came out smelling fine. Like I said, not all of them, though. Some of them, that kind of followed him around. And it's just because, how dare an 80s movie show communism being bad?
How dare a young actor take a fucking job?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
How dare they?
Yeah.
They did that with Michael Chiklis when there was a movie about John Belushi. And they hired him. He like, hey, I'll do the job. And then afterwards, he caught a lot of shit. Hey, the dude wanted a fucking job.
Yeah.
All right. John Belushi's not a god. He was a fantastic comedian.
Yeah.
But like Chiklis had a difficult time for a bunch of years after that. These people are fucking nuts in Hollywood.
Yeah, all I can say is, when you get to a certain point, Robert Shaw is a fantastic old school actor. Good to see you here, buddy.
100%. Ironic shark.
Like, I've heard Sylvester Stallone talk. Sylvester Stallone's conservative. He's not totally vocal about it. But he's just kind of coyly said like, yeah, if you don't kind of toe the line, you can run into issues. So it can go from maybe blackballing, or they just throw your resume out, or you just kind of take heck, so to speak, from executives and maybe some fellow actors. It's not comfortable. That's why a lot of Hollywood people keep their politics private, because they want to work, I guess. And they haven't changed much. Yeah, but here's just some of the Gen Z people. One reviewer, 16-year-old Taylor, said the movie was completely ridiculous, and she believes that men treat women with a lot more respect and equality now. Oh yeah. Just go to Pornhub and places like that.
Right.
In
that movie, in American Pie, wasn't one of the characters? She just used guys. I don't know all the characters' names.
It's been so long since I've seen it too, but I think I know what you're talking about.
And not the band camp girl.
No, it wasn't.
But the other girl,
Hannah. What's her name? Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She ended up doing Old Navy commercials. That's that.
Oh, that's right.
Talking
Yeah.
of.
Yep. Another 17-year-old Hannah said the scene where the male characters film a foreign exchange student getting changed in her room is deeply problematic. She criticized the film for not even questioning the morality of doing this, adding that there's no way a teen film made now would allow it. Oh yeah. But like I said, just go on the hub and you can watch, some 18-year-old girl getting choked out by, some 30-year-old guy as he's railing her. But that's perfectly fine, because that's empowering, right?
Right. Because they're making money from it.
Yeah. That's totally empowering. Bullshit. Fucking hypocrites. Gen Z, man. I love them, but I hate them. It's like
wrong?
It'll drive you crazy.
We weren't good enough role models.
It's like when you have Gen Z kids, it's like you spend half your time being like, oh man, some of them are just so good, and then you're like, wow, what are you guys thinking? Oh yeah, Porky's. Show these Gen Z cucks up Porky's. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Yeah. He drilled a hole in the shower, didn't he? Mm-hmm. That was what Kim Cattrall was in the first one.
Yeah, she was the squealer, wasn't she?
Yes. Yeah. Howl at the Moon.
What was it? The big dude's his nickname was Meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Author and columnist Sophia Benoit said the scene involving the student being filmed without their knowledge was genuinely gross to watch. Oh my God! How can we help, Sophia? I mean, do you need some therapy? Oh, Lord!
Can you go scroll back up? So she just watched it for the first time in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 years after
almost 30, yeah,
came out. Yeah.
Or 25, sorry, yeah, 25, yeah. Yeah, because it was 98, right? Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, it was in that area.
Yeah.
Well, what they think about the movie Pretty in Pink at the end there, when the dorky kid ends up getting the hot girl, and does the unmentionables. The ex-boyfriend or there is telling him, "Hey, I did all kinds of shit to her." What? Let's all right, Gen Z and this person, and let's go through all of culture that I grew up and just shit all over it. Let's get it over with. All right, just do it. And then when you're done, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Not everything ages well, but I get it. But I was genuinely gross to watch. I mean, come on, Lord. Remember Revenge of the Nerds? They did the same thing there. Pan down. I want to see Bush.
Right.
Remember?
Oh, man.
I feel so violated. It's a fucking movie. Ugh.
If she would have watched, I can't even go there. She doesn't even know. Rollerblade. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rollerball.
I apologize. All right. Then they did a remake. Okay. There's an outrage right there.
Oh yeah.
But this is an outrage.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Fucking
Just
participation stickers in safe places.
Lighten up, people. Lighten up.
Chris Miller's saying goodnight.
Good night, Chris.
Night, Chris. See you, brother. See you pretty soon.
About 10 days for you guys.
Yep. Saw this on Twitter. I don't know how true this is. When he smashed wedding cake in my face and ruined my $1,600 bridal makeup, but actually ended up saving me $50K in divorce fees and half my net worth by showing how little he respected me nice and early so I could still qualify for an annulment. I left our reception venue without saying a word and filed the paperwork in the Uber on the way home. Do we buy it?
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It would be kind of interesting if it was
we
true.
did buy it. She got paid for her clicks. So, yep, we bought it.
That's true, yeah.
We paid for it.
Well, I didn't do it on Twitter or TikTok, so she didn't get us there, but that's funny. I do hate it, and as you guys know,
She's a pretty girl. What did she need $1,600 worth of makeup for?
Yeah, that is outrageous.
Because it's a lie.
I was glad my son and daughter-in-law now did not smash cake in each other's face.
We did not do a cake smash at our wedding.
My brother-in-law and his wife, when they got married, it was outside. They were rolled around on the ground. It was brutal. Oh, God. Absolutely brutal.
It is sort of white trashy.
Yes, exceedingly so. When everyone's not like, no one enjoyed it. Everyone was afraid.
Yep. All right, before we do to auto enroll, and we'll watch one little TikTok video here. I was going to get to actual Jake. Remember him? The corn guy?
Yeah.
He's been making videos on me. I kind of lost track of him. So I must be a reliable source of entertainment for him. So ain't going to do it tonight. It'll take too long. So we'll slip that in. I'll keep it in the hopper. I also have a Condor DM video I want to do. So many things. All right, but let's this guy was having a bad day. A really bad day.
Just because I had just a bit of a jarring experience here. I went into the bank. I was trying to change my name on my account, which apparently I can't do because my ex and I still have a joint account, so my ex needs to be present so I can change my name and it reflects on both accounts.
You mean your wife divorced you? Oh my God. I can't understand why.
This guy has it all. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Regardless of that, the girl who was doing it had a question, and she calls her coworker over like, well, he's trying to change his name on his account, and I'm like, she kind of like looks at me a little bit and is like, oh, I'm sorry, and just like writes it off, but like I'm just like.
What he doesn't know is that if this was right after, and it probably was, they're inside the bank laughing their ass off right now at you.
So they just want to be crystal clear on some stuff at a bank where they actually have a bunch of money to make sure that so they just want proper protocols. That's so weird.
Yeah, that you are who you say you are.
Weird.
No matter how much you LARP, if you opened up the account as Frank, and now you're Francine, well, guess what? As Crazy Mouse just pointed out, they need to know you're still Frank.
Because I have a hunch that maybe his ID on file might not match his picture now.
Probably not. Probably not.
Read both names. Like, she had both my IDs and my legal name change paperwork in front of her. So, you know what my name's going to. Number 2, I look and sound like this. I know.
That's why they called you he.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they called you he.
I'm 6 feet tall, but girl, come on. I'm wearing a dress. I am wearing a dress.
Oh,
I am wearing makeup. I'm wearing eyeliner and eyeshadow and everything. Like,
It is really sad because I think when they go out, they think like, oh man, I'm killing it. Like I'm going to go out there, I'm going to turn heads. And it's like, you draw all the wrong kind of attention because everybody knows exactly what's going on.
The new normal in America apparently is clown hair.
Yeah. It's like you chose the easiest path to do it. Ugh.
What do I have to fucking do? What do I have to do to, like, just get gendered correctly?
Be reborn as a woman. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Look, unless you're Blair White or, that like 1/10 of 1% of trans people who probably like work so hard to pass as a woman, everybody's going to know. And even like Blair White, I mean, if you look close enough, you're going to be able to tell. But no, God put you on this earth as a dude. Live it out.
While I'm out. Like, I know it's happened before, but like when I'm doing something like official like this, it's been so annoying that like it's just like, oh, well, he needs this and his and him and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are you kidding me? You use your eyes.
They are using their eyes. That's what they don't understand. Yeah, $2 Disco Barbarian. All you have to do is act like a man.
Yes. Yeah, honestly. Just act the role that you were.
I don't understand how hard it is. Andy Dufresne did this shit through the mail.
Your eyes. This isn't rocket science. Like, it's very clear that if you aren't sure, here's a tip. You aren't sure, ask. Ask what my pronouns are.
What's your clown name? What's your clown name?
Nobody wants to ask you anything.
No.
It's like people, they don't understand human nature. It's like I told you about my coworker who I really do like, but she got her doctorate and now wants to be called doctor. Well, not like nobody wants to say anything. It's like nobody wants to engage. They see a 6-foot dude in a dress coming. They already have in their minds.
I want to go on break. That's what they have on their minds as you're walking in. Oh, fuck, I want to go on break.
I'm getting out of here. They know all the baggage that could be attached to it. Like you are a mine to them. You are a bomb, like an unstable like plutonium bomb. And it's like they don't want to like diffuse you because they know all the damage you can do if they do slip, even if it's just by accident.
And you have to be careful because if, let's say, that guy sued the bank, it's a bank. He knows they have tons of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do try to do that, and they know that a lot of companies will just settle. Hey, look, even if I'm going to sue you for $1 million, and what if they say, hey, we'll give you $30,000? Guess what? $30,000 is a lot of money. So if, even if you can just do that for the horrible crime of being misgendered.
There's what J. Mike has to say on the situation.
3-year-old son at the grocery store said to me, "Why is that man wearing a dress? 6'6", brother, in a dress with a wig." Yes. You'd almost think it's evolution. All these same people who poo-poo like creationism and that. They'd laugh at a Christian who said, there was intelligent design or something. Oh no, it's all evolution. I got news for you. That cuts both ways. Because God gave us the peepers to determine the people that we're supposed to procreate with. Both sides. Sorry. I mean, I didn't make the rules. I didn't make biology.
They got to put up signs all over the place at banks and stuff like that. Don't treat this like Walmart.
Yeah.
Don't. You shouldn't be so comfortable to walk in the bank dressed up like you're going to go to Walmart. And most of these people here, they're like, none of these people here, on our chat right here are like that at all. I don't even, you know, I know you're not. You can't possibly be that way. You know, don't treat it like Walmart. You know?
Yep. Yeah, that's a good philosophy. It, odd, oddity are accurate pronouns. What people will do, just like I said, people will avoid confrontation. So just they will go out of their way to not say anything to people. It's not like people go around like even me, like if I saw trouble in that forum, I wouldn't go up and be like, hey, you know, do you really know biologically you are this? No. Look, I'm not going to be a rude idiot in public. Especially
a long shot, Sleevan. Have a good night.
See a long shot.
Have a good one, long shot.
Look, if you're not bothering anybody, I mean, okay, you know, fine. I mean, I don't know how you feel, so I'm not going to sit there and engage you and just. But what I will do is I will just kind of avoid you.
That's fair. That's what we do in society. Yeah. It's not, you know, we're not forced to be best friends with people. We're not forced to talk to each other. You know, just civil. Like, we've forgotten about, you know, civility, being a civilized nation.
Yep. Like I said, if you know, oh, this person has the potential to be trouble, you know, that I could end up getting a lecture. I could end up getting a talking to by my boss.
So this place I have all my money wants to double check to make sure they get
right. I am who I say I am.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Go in and just like disguise yourself some more.
Yeah.
And
especially
then be
when you're
incensed.
going in there to close accounts.
Yeah.
Can I have all the money that's in this account? I don't know. Like, this doesn't match up. But I have a name change request form. That's fantastic. We still want to make sure you are who you say that you were.
Mine too, Kobanizer. Mine too.
Kevin Lamb
Kevin.
popping in to say
Kevin.
hi.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Consider it done, my friend.
Yeah.
Good to see you here, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of a live and let live guy. You know, if you're going to start forcing me, look, I don't. If I saw a trans, I would probably just try to call them by their given name. I wouldn't use pronouns. Funny how that is when you're talking to somebody face to face. You generally don't use she and her and he and him or they and them too much because you're talking to the fucking person right in front of you. You don't talk to someone like they're not there. Oh, you see what this guy did?
This person?
Yeah, this person did. See what this? It's like no, that's the insanity.
I remember the
of it
first
all.
time I was reading about pronouns. It had to do with that guy in our town that was like running for election. They kept using they in the article, and I'm like, who? And this was years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's the other person that they're referring to?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's
and I was so
confusing.
confused. And then I had to be told, oh no, that's the pronoun. I get it, but they's plural.
Yeah. Who's the other person?
Yeah. Who's he with? I don't understand. Oh, it's not a he anymore. It's a they.
Yeah.
I feel like that guy. Just cut my hair.
Just cut my fucking
Just
hair.
cut my hair.
Well, I mean, in some regard, that's sort of the whole deal is to get you to kind of dance and like,
right.
You know, kind of, you're like entertainment for them. I use asshole because everyone's got one. Yeah. Exactly.
That's fair.
Thaden. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So I don't know.
I don't feel sad for this person because there's obviously the right way to do something, and this person either chooses not to or is completely ignorant of what, you know, how to do something in a successful manner.
Well, they're mentally ill.
They are, which means, unfortunately, here's the part: they are mentally ill. And I don't feel sorry for that person, but I need more information about you now because, you know, my kids aren't impressionable children anymore as far as for like, are you my kid's teacher?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I need more information about you now, or, you know, what bathroom do you use? Is my daughter going into a bathroom and then you feel the need that you're going to go into the same bathroom as her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what a lot of parents are a little edgy about. And look, just the fact that,
and this isn't that TV show. Remember that TV show that had Callista Flockhart, and they had like a unisex bathroom. Ally
McBeal.
McBeal. This isn't Ally McBeal. We don't have unisex bathrooms.
Oh, there are. Mrs. D and I were in Pittsburgh. There was a bar. Rogan, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We were in a bar bathroom, and they had on the door, like, it was men and women, but now it's like we don't care, just hit the toilet or something like that. It just sparked so much confusion because Mrs. D and I were at a table in front of it, and we just saw all these women like, where do I go? What do I do? And it's like, oh, there's men in this one. People were trying to self-select. You could almost tell, like, people in their own minds were trying to restore order, but this stupid bar had decided it was going to be, well, trendy. But all it does is cause confusion. And like you said, it's going to cause something worse. It already has in some
It's going to be very problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this person, too, their first thing was to go make a video over it. No, like they could have just said to the person who, quote unquote, misgendered them, just say, oh, hey, I actually go by Francine now. Yeah, I'm trying to change my life, So, I guess with that comes, all this stuff, but don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. I think most people would be like, oh, sorry, Francine, we'll do better. If they had just been nice about it, they probably, the people at the bank would have been like, whatever. All right. So if you see Francine again, just make sure, you
go on break.
Yeah, you go on break. Yeah. It's like, this window's closed. $5 Edens. Thank you so much. Aposematism. Warning colors, an adaptation by poisonous or dangerous animals, also commonly used by modern liberals to signal their victim status. Absolutely. Like the poisonous frogs and such in insects. Yep. Yeah, he obviously wanted something to complain about. And that's, again, it's folks like that ruin it for the small percentage who are normal.
We can't blame him because he's colorblind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It'll be one excuse after another.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's do a couple minutes of O&R here. All right, everybody. Those of you that want to hang around, we'll do a little bit of our live play. We'll catch up with the boys. Otto is in a heap of trouble. Heap of trouble.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. All right. For everybody who stuck around for the regular show and is going to bug out, thank you so much. We love you. We will see you next week. I know I missed a video this week. I was going to try to keep uploading weekly. It's a little hard this time of year. Plus,
Jeff from Denkar's chatting.
Yep. See you, Jeffrem. So, yes, Double D has been very, very busy with life. A lot of things happening, so bear with me. I know, and I have not forgot about channel members. Mrs. D and I, she keeps saying, like, when are we going to play Gloomhaven again? I'm like, we will. We just don't want to be, like, reading the rules on stream, so we want to, like, make sure we're well acquainted with them. So those are coming. Thank you guys very much. Those of you taking off, we'll see you around the block. And for those of you sticking around, well... All right. Well, here we are. The boys have gone from the northern lands to the free cities. They're in Port Prospera, in the Temple of Set. They've heard there might be treasure around here. That's always a good thing, because these boys are they're ready to get a little money, so they have joined up with the temple. I guess ostensibly to get at it from the inside. Now, there's Zethrak, one of the biggins, one of the priests here. And then Roland, you saw this guy. You're not even sure who he was, but he had a commanding presence.
Yes.
But your chief tormentor, as you're trying to get to know the Temple of Set from bottom to top, is this guy.
Don't like him.
Tharn. Not this Tharn. This Tharn. He's a little better. Now, I think last episode, or actually the one before, you, Roland, had met Soraya.
Yes.
And she was the concubine of the Snake Master, Argath. But I believe she said she's up for bigger and better things. When you delivered food to her, she kind of like gave you a little eyeball, and then you came back and just say you hit it out of the park, Tiger.
Bing, bang,
Yep.
boom.
So, do you remember everything else? Do you want to tell the chat? Do you remember everything that went on, like about the plan, such as it was?
Oof,
Can you remember?
Get the wrong notebook here. Yeah, how was the plan? That we would meet up again.
Yeah, I think she said she would put outside like like
the dishes.
Yeah,
Right.
the dishes to let you know it's like safe to come up, and she was going to work on getting both of you guys like essentially like the privilege of being out after hours. Unfortunately, though, Otto got caught again. Yeah, so you got taken to Tharn's office, and damn, a little thing you did earlier did pay off. You know, his seat collapsed, and you got a little chuckle out of it. But you also could tell that he's pretty pissed. He's very pissed.
He gave me the gut punch.
Yeah, I gave you a gut punch.
Kind of like when Taggart punched Axel Foley.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's where we left it, right? You were just kind of leaving there.
Mm-hmm.
They take you back downstairs.
And they threw me in my room.
Yeah. Get some of these people off there. All right. So you're in 5 for the night, and you can hear now there's a guard out there, and are you doing anything at night?
No.
Roland?
I'm planning my next chair song. So I'm going to do it again.
I'm anxious to talk with him more, but this probably isn't the right opportunity to talk. Even if people are sleeping, I probably don't feel very safe.
I think that we're getting to a comfort level with our routine in the kitchen where we know that there'll be times in the kitchen where we have one-on-one where no one's around. So all our private chats can happen during our scullery shifts.
All right. Well, let's just pick it up in the morning then. You guys wake up as normal. Now, remember, this is where you normally go outside and you learn about the cult of Set and the snake who has the world in its clutches. they everybody tells you to go upstairs, for your morning prayers out on the lawn.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me know if you're, because you're just kind of walking out and then up the stairs, then out the first floor. If there's anything you want to do, let me know.
I don't think he gave me any facial damage. I think it was all gut punch.
Oops.
So I wouldn't be all marked up. No one would know that I got worked over from the
Yeah.
night before.
Yep. All right, so you go up and out. It's another nice sunny day. The weather is good here. They sit you down, and for the first 15 minutes, it just kind of seems like a normal day. But then Tharn comes out, and that you can tell they're looking for somebody. It seems as they're looking, their eyes come to your group, and then he comes over with the guards. So the lesser priest who's kind of preaching to you guys, Tharn says, "Apologies, brother. I'll need that one there." He points right to you, Otto.
Okay.
He has the guards take you, and they treat you kind of roughly. They take you by the arms, like both of them. So you have guards on either side of you, kind of like pinching your arm.
Okay.
Any resistance? Do you want to try anything, get away or anything?
I'm kind of unsure of what's going on. So
Tharn is leading you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching intently.
Yeah, but they disappear back inside the temple. You go down to the dungeons.
Okay.
Into the kitchen, and there's just like the regular cook is there, kind of like setting up. Like it's like they're getting set up for for like lunch. All right, so you're in the kitchens. Tharn comes in behind, after talking to the kitchen master.
Did they all leave? Is it just me, Tharn, and the two guards?
Now it is, yeah.
Okay.
So Tharn comes up to you. Oh, sorry, that's not Tharn. That's Zethrak. Tharn comes up to you. He has a look of disdain on his face for you. And he says, "Well, looks like we just have a volunteer."
Volunteer for what?
He punches you in the gut again.
I'm gonna try it didn't hurt.
Okay.
Last time you had me roll a
Constitution, sure. Roll under your con. See if you flinch.
I rolled a 2.
Oh, that's good, actually. He even notices. He's like, "Well, we got a tough guy here."
Well, you're toughening me up from after the punch you gave me last night.
Well, let's see how tough you are after meeting Sestek. He kind of laughs. He whistles, and the kitchen master comes in. He's like, "Get it." The kitchen master comes from the back with a bucket, a huge bucket, almost like this thing probably weighs, if I said like 60, 70 pounds of just kind of rotting meat, like bad spoiled meat. He's like, "I'm sure someone as strong as you, able to take something like that." He punches you again. Go ahead. You want to do it?
Yep. Another 2. Thank you very much.
All right. He even kind of says, "Well, maybe you just will survive it if you can just keep your ass inside your room at night. But of course, that depends on you surviving Sestek."
In my own mind, that's the thing at the end of the hall, correct?
I guess you'll see. He just kind of nods and then he leaves, and you can hear he probably goes back upstairs. So there's 2 guards with you and now the kitchen master. And the kitchen master just says,
Does he as he's leaving but not out the door yet,
Mhm.
I'm going to on my stomach, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, this shit's getting washboard.
Alrighty. Let's
Like
see.
a piece of iron.
Let's see. All right, so 9. He does not take the bait. He just turns and smiles, shakes his head, and then
Are these
walks.
the same 2 guards that were in his room when he
No.
fell? Oh,
No,
rats.
they're not. They're not. They're different guards. The kitchen master comes over and says, "Well, lad, I don't know what you did to get on his bad side, but I wouldn't stay there if I were you. This goes down to Argath, and he'll tell you what to do."
Okay.
You say
Me and the
pretty-
kitchen master are on good terms.
Yeah,
Always
more or
have
less.
been.
Yeah. He's pretty
I've
professional.
always done my job for him. Yeah.
All right, so yes, the guards tell you to, kind of tersely pick up the bucket of rotting meat, which is very heavy. But you can obviously lift it. Take it. They say, "Follow us." They do take you down to the end of that hall, past 4, the dining hall, into the mysterious door.
Double D, isn't there, like when we're bussing tables, isn't there like a cart with some wheels and stuff that we always put our plates on?
I never thought about that.
Sure. Yeah, like a wooden
you know what?
like an old wooden cart, sure.
Yeah, good. I'm going to take that old wooden cart. I'm not going to carry this. I'm going to show these nincompoops that I'm going to work smarter and not harder, and I'm just going to put it on top of that buggy and fucking wheel it down.
The guards, as they see what you're doing, they grab your arm and they say, "What do you think you're doing?"
Using my brain that Set gave me.
They say set requires strength.
Oh, goodness gracious. I just did. Okay, no problem. I'll do it your way. But didn't I just prove my strength? As I pat my stomach again. And I just kind of tersely just pick up the bucket. I'm going to show that I'm not going to strain. So if you want me to make a strength roll or whatever, I will. But I'm going to show them, like, I'll do it your fucking stupid way. But there's a smarter way to do this. So, all right, cool.
You're a young lad. This isn't like,
It's just
like
70 pounds,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you can
It's 2
carry
cases
it.
of
Yeah,
water
yeah.
from, the grocery store.
You get to the end, and before you go into the door, the 2 guards, they swing you around and they say, "What are you trying to prove, boy? Do you understand you could have gotten us in trouble if you'd have taken that cart?
For what?
Do you think life under Set is easy? You're being punished."
Doesn't Set want us to use our minds and be smart with stuff and make intelligent choices?
One knocks on the door while the other says, "Set wants you to stay in your fucking room at night, okay?"
Yeah.
But at that point, the door opens up and you see a wizened old man, and the one guard just says, "Here he is," and he's like, "Oh yes, come in." The other says, "I'll be outside if you need me." So one walks away. So you presume one is on the other side of the door, and the door is closed.
Okay.
Now I will show you.
Travis says he likes how Crazy Mouse is leaning into Otto's true self.
All right, so here's the door. So this is a weird chamber, okay? All along the wall are like shelves kind of built into the rock, filled with bones, human bones. There's like a mishmash. There's like a chair, like a I don't want to say like a comfy chair, but like somewhere, for this guy to rest. There's like tables all over with like all kinds of beakers, bones on it. equipment. It doesn't smell very good in here. That's the first thing you realize.
Okay.
It smells pretty bad. But all along the wall are like shelves. And he looks at you and says, "Well, boy, you must have done something to piss off old Tharn." He's like, "Hey, I kind of like that." But unfortunately, you're going to have to go into the snake pit.
Okay.
You got to take that in there and feed Sestet.
It'd be my pleasure.
Oh, by now the remains of the last sacrifice are also somewhere in there.
You need me to bring them up?
I do.
Be happy to.
It's like, well, the last two didn't make it. Now, I know the secret, so I can do it. But apparently they want you to do it. You must have done some terrible misdeed. So, I'll tell you, because you pissed off Tharn, I'll give you a little advice. Don't panic.
Okay. Thank you.
He walks over, beckoning you to pick up the bucket of rotting meat.
Mm-hmm.
Walks over here. There's a portcullis there.
I feel like that little girl in that Batman movie, which used to jump out of that Bane's like
right
prison.
Close your eyes for a second, boys.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So you can see a small like hallway, almost, not like a hallway, but like you're dealing with now with like this is smooth carved, like this is worked just like all the other rooms down here.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking in here, that is like rough cave. Okay.
Like carved out from a snake.
It's just like natural cavern, like
Yeah.
not you know what's caused it, but it's just kind of dark. He's like, let your eyes adjust. He starts to raise the portcullis. Now, you're not sure it smells bad, but this is a fairly man-sized hallway. It's about 7 or 8 feet, maybe. So you're feeling, fine, as you look down there, but you do see it widens out.
Okay.
He's like, make sure Sestet gets this and get those bones.
Okay.
He kind of like ushers you through and then says, don't worry, I'll be here. He like starts to close the portcullis. In case you get any second thoughts, I must fulfill my duty.
Fair enough.
You go in there, right?
Yep.
What do you want to do? You're staring out.
And I'm carrying the meat still, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're kind of scraping the cavern wall, but it after about 10 feet or so, it does sort of open up, and then it opens up pretty widely.
Are my eyes adjusting okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
by now, yeah. The light in this room was pretty low to begin with.
Okay.
But it does smell bad.
Smells like Tharn's breath.
All right. What you doing?
I'm following that path. I'm going to do my obligation.
Pop it out?
Yep.
Okay. So you go out. So this is not to scale, of course. But actually, it goes back a little bit here. And then it opens up a lot more there. It's dark. You don't see anything right now. You do see some
Nerd Cognito's in the house.
Ooh, how you doing, Nerd Cognito?
He finally shows up on the stream, and the First thing
I'm carrying the meat.
Carrying the meat.
Yep. I'm going to be on with Ryan this Saturday on Rumble. So check that out, guys, too. I'll promote it on X. But yeah, join us over on Rumble. I'll be in the Speakeasy on Saturday. This is a very very busy week for your boy. I'm on with the Black Lodge boys tomorrow, and then
Double D. We call that networking.
Yeah, that's right. Love doing it. Love talking to my friends. So looking forward to talking to Ryan in his shop. So you see some bones over there. You also see some bones over here.
Did he give me like a bucket to put him in?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
All right. Do I see the snake at all? I mean, I'm not supposed to hand feed it. I can just dump the bucket out. You know?
Just tell me what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to dump the bucket out.
Whereabouts?
So the bones are to my left and to my right. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah. Left, right.
I'm gonna dump the bucket of meat like over here.
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. You dump the meat there?
Yeah.
So you have an empty bucket now?
I'm gonna go grab those bones here.
Here.
And I'm gonna walk over to here and grab these bones. That's
All
my
right.
plan.
All right. So it takes up a little bit of time. These look like arm bones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You gather them up, no problem. And you make the walk over here. Make a listen roll.
It says Double D, hear noise 1,
Hear
die
noise.
2.
1 or 2 out of a die 6.
Okay. 2.
All right. You see a snake about that size. Maybe not a cobra.
But I already have those bones, correct?
You don't have these ones yet.
I'm going to work hastily. One eye on him, one eye on the bones. My head's on a swivel. Does it stop for the food?
It does.
I'm going to freaking get these bones as fast as I can. But I'm going to remember what that old man said to me. Don't panic. So I'm just going to work.
Make a charisma roll.
Quickly.
Make a charisma roll.
$14. I missed it by 1.
You're getting to it, but you know, at that last end, you maybe like a couple bones like slip out of your hands and you're like, God damn it. You start getting frustrated.
I'm just going to keep in my head, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic.
It's not that you panic, but you get frustrated and it's like it can sense it and it starts to slither towards you.
Okay.
What do? It's like, just picture this in the movie. You're like, you're picking the bones you maybe just drop back in the bucket and then all of a sudden you hear.
Is there one that I have to still get? Or how many
maybe
did I
just
miss?
like a couple more.
I'm just going to have my eye on him as I'm reaching for the bones to put him back in this bucket.
As you reach for it, he like starts coming faster towards you.
Okay.
What do you wish to do?
You know, I'm kicking now the bone. I put my hands up and I'm kicking the bones that I need to still pick up closer to the bucket with my feet so that I can get it all in one fair swoop and run down that hallway.
All right. It stops for the moment and it like darts its tongue out at you. It comes really close to you, like within 5 feet. You've never seen anything like this before. This is, I mean,
it's awe.
It is. You're starting to like sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all based off, maybe the failed roll. It's only natural. I mean, good Lord. I mean, no person should have to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go right to rolling now.
All right.
All right. So you do your duties.
Yes.
You get sent to the kitchens again.
All right. The whole time while I'm walking about, I'm kind of keeping my eye out for the woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just,
you don't see her, but when you are in the kitchens getting ready for, doing like lunch, she comes in and talks to the kitchen master, and you can tell she's kind of like flirting with him. And you can kind of read the body language, and she's like, winner, chicken dinner. I got that same miniature. There you go. Yeah, it's the Reaper Bones. Yeah. You can kind of tell what she's doing. She's kind of like, and she points to you. And the kitchen guy says, okay, and you can tell the kitchen guy's like being toyed with. She kind of like, does this on his chin. So she leaves. And then sure enough, after about 15 minutes, he's like, you, boy, come here. He's like, you know where this goes, right? Second floor?
Yes.
Off the stairs. You remember the woman?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
He's like, he goes, go ahead, take that up to her, and then come on back here. He kind of says, I can't wait till I get my spurs into her.
As a young guy, I'll like, yeah, man, yeah. In my mind, I'm like, little do you know.
Mm-hmm. So up you go. You're familiar with this, right?
Very.
Yep. Room 10?
Yes.
As soon as you get to the door, she's already there. She opens it for you, and she gives you a big kiss, before you can even set the food down.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh, just put that over there. She says, what's this about your friend? I almost got in trouble asking to put your friend on this duty as well.
Tharn has something out for him. My friend made a mistake.
From what I hear, he keeps going out after dark.
Well, I did the same thing.
Well, you didn't get caught. He's a fool.
I don't disagree.
She's like, well, tell him if he values his life, he should not get caught again. He's probably already feeding the snake as we talk.
Feeding the snake?
I'm in its mouth.
Yeah.
and I'll look kind of surprised, like feeding the snake.
Yes. Argath, the man who's in this quarter.
Yes. Yeah.
She explains to you, like, they take people who act up, and it's a way for them to weed out potential troublemakers. Either they learn their lesson very quick, or they end up feeding Sestek.
My associate is smart, maybe foolish, but he's smart and resilient.
We shall see.
But you know what? I'm done talking about him.
All right. She's like, well, I think I can explain your absence for another 20 minutes. As she undoes her blouse.
Swing.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Do you want to come over here, Crazy? Do you have die 8s out, Crazy Mouse?
I do. I have die 8s.
You want to come over here on camera and do a die 8?
I'll just do it right here in my bowl.
No, let's do it so people can see. We want the action to...
I won't lie.
You won't... Can you stand over here?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. How many do I need?
Let's do 4.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, instead of that, because they aren't going to be able to see. There'll be no tension. What's your dexterity?
14.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm gonna. You still want to do it if I turn the Elgato off? Is that
whatever you want?
Yeah. That's. I figured that's what you're. Okay, come on over. Yep, I got you. Yeah, I was gonna have you stand off to the side anyway, so you wouldn't. But it is completely off now. All right. Okay. So this is how we do it. I got to get mine out. It's our die 8 game. We'll just do because you're quick, I'll give you 3 and I do 4. All right. Okay. All right, so the to tell you what happens, all right, you get the last bone, okay? But it's like there's a standoff. Maybe you're like equidistant apart. I'm going to assume at some point you want to get into there. Is that correct? Okay. We'll see who's quicker. Okay. You're faster. It's bigger. Now, I've done this. I've done a video on this. This is called the Die 8 game. It's a little unorthodox. Sometimes we do it just for the heck of it. Whoever gets their 8s done first wins. So we will roll our dice at the same time, simultaneously. You want to call go here, Rogan? And when you roll an 8, it gets off. Whoever finishes their 8s first wins. And that means the snake gets to him first, or he gets to that hallway first with his bones.
Okay, on go. Ready, set, go.
I think I have 1. 2. Damn. 2. 3.
4. Actually, I rolled that one twice. I rolled an 8, rolled a real, I rolled an 8, rolled another 8.
You had to make sure.
All right. So Crazy Mouse is safely away now. All right.
So I did roll 4 8s then.
Yeah.
Right.
You only had to roll 3, but you showed off. All right. So you guys go at the same time. At the same time, you make a run for it. The snake goes after you, but you're just a little too quick. Okay, you make it in there, and the last thing you see is the snake's huge head trying to get down that narrow hallway. But of course it can't. It's too big.
Which is actually what I kind of thought, that snake wouldn't fit down that hallway.
You were correct. Yeah, it's just too big. But your heart must be going like a mile a minute. At the other end, Argath is smiling. He's like, well, looks like you broke the streak. And he starts to raise the portcullis. He's like, you piss off, Tharn, and you're too quick for Sestek.
And I got both sets of bones.
I may just keep you as my personal assistant, boy. I like you. If he hasn't already, he introduces himself as Argath.
Okay.
And he says, for now, just go back to your duties in the kitchen. But I'll make sure to tell Tharn that you performed admirably and that you are now cleansed of sin.
I also want to thank you for the bit of advice that came in. It came into play.
Well, he's like, I give the same advice to everybody. It's just that only a few have the nerve, and you
and
obviously
I shake
did.
that bucket of bones, and I'll be like, not everyone listens.
He takes the skull out and says, there she is. She was so beautiful. Go to your duties, boy. Go to your duties.
Okay.
And with that, going?
Yeah.
Okay. Out the door, the guard looks at you, and you can hear Argath say, just take him back to the kitchens. He's fine. The guard walks you down. He's like, well, I'm surprised to see you again. I'll give you this much, kid. You got a lot of moxie.
Now I'm already thinking of sneaking out again.
There's a chair out there that needs a little song.
I know. My goal, Double D, at some point what I want to do is legitimately work my way up to Tharn's chambers again so that I can see the type of chair he's currently using, because I'm going to doctor one up and then take it up there.
Travis Fowler, 00s, baby.
00s, baby.
All right, so if you're willing to just lay low, we could do like a montage right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you just going back to work, essentially, just working hard. Are you not sneaking out at night?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so during this montage, we'll say a couple of days. You're okay with this role?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. You get asked to bring up. We'll call it your golden time at the at the Temple of Set.
Fucking liking this.
Yeah,
now.
you're getting laid.
Shit.
And every day you're asked to send over the food for Sestek. But when you get there, Argath says, "Just set it outside the tunnel, boy. You don't need to go in."
Okay.
He's like, it'll get it. Just make sure it can get it. You can even throw it. There's no bones to collect.
I will go to the end of the tunnel and off to the side where I know that this snake now can't go.
Yeah.
And I will leave it right out there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and you get used to it a little bit. Maybe, like I said, we'll do it over, maybe like we'll say a week.
Okay.
So Tharn is easing off. He's kind of like, he's maybe looking for opportunities to bust you, but it must be that Argath is putting in a good word.
Is there any chit chat like in the kitchen, or is it all just heads down chopping fucking food?
They mostly stick to business.
Oh, okay.
But your girl Cassia, she notices your fall and then rise. We'll say, she's like, boy, you've really come out of it. Now you're with Argath. You must be. Things set places these obstacles before us for a reason. In his divine intelligence and mercy, he has given you a second chance.
He has. Praise be set.
Yep. Meanwhile, Roland's upstairs. Put your finger in my butt.
I am like, it won't be.
Give her the shocker.
Week 1, okay, all the fun in the world. Week 2, I'm falling in love.
Well,
like
I can see that. I can see that.
The reason I asked about is there ever any chit chat, because I guess. Like, as we're telling jokes, or just stories about our past. I knew a guy, he was so fat, he broke his chair when he sat down.
Yeah, maybe you could break the ice. You could start breaking the ice over time. The problem is you're not in the kitchens completely.
Yeah.
You're in there part-time.
Yeah.
Like when Argath wants you, he brings you down. And then you maybe just start to get to know him a little bit, as much as he's willing to lead on. We'll leave it here, but Chad, if you can tell me who should play Argath. Is there an actor you have in mind?
Give
for
an age
Argath?
range so they can.
We're a little bit older now.
Yeah.
We're probably in our 50s or 60s.
Okay.
He might even look a little older, but
he's weathered.
Well, yeah, a little weathered, but there's some room. There's some room for some flexibility there.
I'm anxious to see what they come up with.
Yeah, if you can't think of anything now, just I don't know.
Leave it in the chat.
Yeah, leave it in the chat. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, leave it in the comments. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. All right, back we go.
I'm gonna run for. I'm shooting for Tracy Walter.
Oh, Bob the Goon.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's see. Let's see what the chat has to say. Yeah, that's a possibility. We'll say.
He was an Aaron Brockovich.
2 Jakes. Yep. Overkill Joe says, "Don't get caught in her hypnotic gaze," or her hypnotic gaze. All right, there you go. You guys got to see a little quick die-8 chase, a little competition there that we sometimes throw out just for the heck of it. David Warner. Hadn't considered that. William Sadler. Okay, these are good. These are good. Let me think on that. I'll come up with something. Anybody has any others? Leave it in the comments. Richard Lynch. We may have a clubhouse favorite, Richard Lynch.
Not Jeff Goldblum.
Not Jeff Goldblum. No, nice try.
Double
Nice
D's
try
neighbor
sneaking that in.
Double
Yes.
D's neighbor reminds me of Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Uh-oh.
Holy smokes. This guy comes in at the end. We love him. Thank you so much, Howard. $50. Thanks for the great stream, gents.
Very generous.
Great show as always. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your support, Howard. We love you. You guys, all you guys that helped out, super chatted, gave channel memberships. You know, we love everybody who did, and even all of you who didn't. Thanks for showing up and making this one of the better chats.
John Leguizamo.
On YouTube. Ooh, John Leguizamo. I hadn't considered a.
I like him.
I'm still leaning towards Richard Lynch from Surly, from The Sword and the Sorcerer, the bad guy. But I'll think about it. Some good choices there. All right, guys. Been on a long time, but we had to get caught back up with Otto and Roland. We will put up with that. It won't be nearly as long next week, I promise. All right, I'm just going to leave you with a little Marisha Ray, and then we'll be out of here. Thanks again, Howard. I really appreciate that. And the rest of you guys, love you guys too. Snake Oil Sean, Cal, Tac, Surly, Travis, all you hardcores that stick around to the end. Howard, thank you. We'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Peace.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.